But fuck that. We'll go back to the time, but you should have never brought up religion. I asked a simple question. Motherfuckers with all this Christianity and talk about I believe in God. All I asked is like, nigga, right now we can watch a video or whatever, and we'll have two separate different opinions on watching a video. But yet you willing to tell me some shit that goes back 3,000 years that you don't know who wrote, don't know where the shit came from, don't know when the language was translated.
Alrighty.
It's red.
Back. A bit brighter.
You can't say anything about today because
what? I know, right? It's finna be a buck wild one today.
Salute, gentlemen.
Alrighty. So, starting off hot.
I'll let y'all go ahead and take it because I got negative shit to say about everything y'all got. So,
yeah. So, we're going straight into it. We kind of waited a little bit about this Nolan Wells thing that's going around. If you know about it, you know about it. It's the talk of the town. Everybody's talking about it. Every politician, every person giving their point of view. We kind of waited. Still waiting because information is still coming out. So here we are. So, from you guys' perspective, starting off, if your kid were to go on a trip with a group of friends, not making it about race, but if your daughter, sons, or somebody that you're taking care of go on a trip with a group of friends, just based off of automatic, like, do you expect them to stay with the group? Do you expect them to come back home as a group? And, not having to ask a whole bunch of questions if you call and trying to find out where your kid or the person you're taking care of is, which I assume you're going to say, yes, definitely. You are supposed to stay with the group, stay safe, communicate, and all of the above. I went on trip before, make sure you stay with the group. Don't wander off. Stay with the people and stay safe. Like, those are some of the we got a camera that went out. Oh, those are some of the foundation of when you are away. I forgot how old he is.
18.
Yeah. 18.
Oh, he was 17.
So
was he 17?
No, he was 18.
He's 18, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Benjamin Crump just stuck in my head.
Kind of changed my answer a little bit because I was going to say, well, my kid wouldn't be going on any kind of trips without me, or a relative or something like that, an adult relative present anyway. But at 18, I don't know. Maybe I would, but I would still be very wary about just letting them go.
Oh, you'd be wary about letting them go, period?
Yeah, like without an adult being present, because it was just like there's a bunch of 18-year-olds on a boat.
Well, yeah,
for 4th of July weekend, like what's gonna happen. Like nobody's that naive.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna be drinking. It's gonna be all kind of craziness going on.
Of course, and isn't that part about being 18?
Yeah, of course, but you
see what can happen.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah, I'm just saying. I was like, I'm not going to sit up here and lie like I wasn't 18. I'd have definitely split from the group. It was a female involved. Fuck you niggas. I'll swim back.
Right.
And I might swim back with this bitch on my back. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, 100%. As a parent, once your child turns 18, they're still a kid to you. They don't know everything. They can't go out there and just live their lives unless you're already super rich or you've been prepared them. But half the time, you're just preparing them along the way for the things they need to be aware of.
You can prepare them.
Yeah, so much.
Right.
It's still going to come down to their ability to,
make the judgment.
Yeah, make judgment calls and also avoid, peer pressure and all that other stuff.
Oh yeah, that is the number one thing, boy.
Kids do.
Like you said, you go out there and you be like, man, I'm at this girl. She down. I'll see y'all later. I'll see y'all back at the hotel.
I got a record for that. I'm sorry. I was like, why? And it's like, I get the whole concept of you go with the group, you stay with the group depending on where you at. But in any situations that can recall, I was like, yeah, I was with my crew, but if some the thing popped up. I was like, hey, I'm headed this way. And it was understandable. That wasn't uncommon for me.
Yeah.
Not to say, yeah. For everybody else, it may be uncommon, but shit, you feel safe. Just be like, all right, niggas, I see you tomorrow. Tell you what happened.
Yeah. I mean, that's just what I think that's what you should be expected, a kid to do. You would hope that they would make the right decisions, but
Right.
expect them to not.
Yeah.
And try to, mitigate any possible, negative outcomes from that. Which my answer would be no, you're not going unless there's some adults present. For that exact reason. Because it's like, yeah, I can, prepare you all I want to, but
Dude, you're a blocker, bro.
you still gotta
Oh man, that's you.
I don't know, man.
He over here
You're-
cock blocking.
Yeah, bro, you're a blocker.
He don't want
for
me to get no
sure.
ass. Like,
I'll
you
be
know,
there.
Yeah.
I'll be
How you think we got here?
but
all my kids will be coming home safely.
oh man, especially when you get them kids that come home drunk and then they just be like, here, it is what it is. Like, I'm drunk, I'm gonna suffer in the morning, but I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
yeah.
difference between, sending your kid to a party, on the other side of the city or whatever, versus sending them to, a whole, I don't know, were they all in a different state? Were they all from a different state?
No, they were all from Mississippi.
They were all from
They
there?
were all from
Okay.
Mississippi.
Well, that's still far because it's like, if I can't get to you within, a reasonable amount of time, it's like, you might as well be in another state. It take me 2 hours to drive to come see what's going on. Like, you call me in an emergency
I
and
don't
it
know
take me
if it
2
was
hours to get to
2
you.
hour drive. I mean, they from where they were at the boat trip, they said it took about 35 minutes.
Yeah, but how long from, where each one of them lived to where the boat is docked at?
Right. So it was at one of the kids' house, one of his schoolmates' house, because it was his grandfather's boat.
Mhm.
So they were still within the area where they lived at.
Really?
So yeah. So it wasn't, too out of the way. And plus it was like the kids like they've gone there plenty of times or enough times to know like when they go out there, there's a lot of people out there and everything. They interviewed other people that had nothing to do with it. And they like, yeah, this is like the hangout. So it'd be like going to 35th Street Beach. Not everybody knows about it, but come summertime, everybody be at that motherfucker. So
Yeah, but what about the I guess from what you were saying, like how from the time you something's going wrong and you need to go check on your kid, from the time you leave your house to get to the dock, whether if that's a boat available to get on that boat, then to drive out to that island, then the child is still missing, then you're still trying to get answers, and then that's where we are now. Like the next part of it, your kid does not come home. What is your first instinct? Like, of course, like everybody's saying, or at least the black internet, they're clearly making it about race. I'm not making it about race, but then it can lead to that. Or somebody can say it can be racist for the black kid to go missing, but then the kids, I think the parents started to push the idea of legal action, and then they immediately got legal counsel. But then what do you expect? What do you assume? What is your take? What is your first response if your kid doesn't come back home? Do you follow those necessarily steps? I don't even know if the parent necessarily had a chance to talk to the friend, but then the parents are stating they're not friends. But then some other people, like, they are friends. Like, they've been going to the same school since whatever grade. But then
grade, they said.
So it's
So
just,
they said.
I mean, I think this is all still gonna be a bunch of just like all the other cases. It's like we don't know shit what's going on outside of what they release into the public. It's like we don't know what them kids be doing when they in class, when they outside of class, at school. It is like it may be stuff that the parents are just not saying on both sides.
Right,
Yeah.
because
So it's
they're
just like-
kids.
Yeah, and
And
it's
that's
just
what
like.
kids do.
But as far as I haven't heard any. Again, I don't be like
And good for you. I just
like diving into this stuff, but it's like I haven't heard anybody making it a purely like a racist thing. Like, oh, they got the black kid to go out so they can kill a black kid.
oh,
I'm
that's,
pretty
that's
sure-
what's going on
oh,
right
you
now.
haven't heard
I'm
that?
pretty
yeah.
sure there's gonna be some
Oh, you
idiots
haven't
that may
heard
say
that?
something like that.
Oh,
No,
well,
I haven't.
Oh, okay. Well, you're man, dude.
But
your
is
mother-
that one of the leading theories that's out there, or is that just some
100%?
Yes. That is the only theory coming from the black community. Yep. Well, from the
I don't really care about what random motherfuckers online are saying. I'm talking about in the legality, in the case, in the lawsuits, or whatever is going on in that aspect.
No, they still are building a case.
Yeah, they're still building.
I don't think are the parents or the parents' representatives, are they leaning into, this black kid, these white kids took the one black kid out, and all of a sudden
are the black kids' parents?
Is that what you're saying? Are they his parents or representatives or anybody from that side of the actual people involved coming out and feeling like, these white kids, took this black kid out, and all of a sudden he come up missing.
Yeah,
it's got something to do with it.
But my thing is,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Is and I do have to understand that sometimes, as you say, this stuff doesn't come across your feed, or I'm pretty sure he might be
for you. No, my shit is in the nigga verse for real.
Mine is too. So I would assume that so many things that maybe we just need to lay it all out. But so apparently the parents are not necessarily saying it's a racist thing, but they have these activists coming out talking for them at these press conferences, even reading the autopsy report. So a lot of people are stating that because of how fast the kids seeked legal counsel or hired a lawyer based upon the family, pushing or telling you, we're going to file legal action because our son didn't come back home. You had his cell phone. You erased all his location off of his Snapchat and all of his photos and everything off his phone. And then when we get the phone back, there's no images, videos, or anything of the party of where he was. The only people that had images of the parties of everybody else posting everything online. So from the parent standpoint, of course, they're going to think that's suspicious. Why did it take so long for you to give our son his cell phone back? And a couple other things in those areas that make everything seem suspicious. So the black internet is automatically going there. And people are saying, if the race was swapped, would the black boy seek legal counsel that fast versus the white boy? And
absolutely. Of course, I would assume if you in a group of people and somebody come up missing, like, you should be trying to make sure you covering your ass, like, regardless of what the race is. But my thing is, I could not care less about what, black social media is saying, or like what activists are saying, because it ain't always just black. You got the liberals out there that just, want to pat on the back, just, side with the minority or whatever.
Stood up for the blackies.
Yeah. So I don't really care about what they have to say, or I rather not even give them any attention, because it's unwarranted and it's completely, it's unfruitful.
And
so, but my thing is, I want to know, are the racial undertones and those things, are those coming from the parents? Are they the ones saying, not just that, he's a black kid, which it is a fact, and it's just like, hey, it's something that you can't just ignore, the fact that, there's one only black kid in a group of white kids, and he the one that comes up missing. But it's like, is a difference between saying that and acknowledging that fact, and saying, hey, I feel like these kids targeted my kid because he was black, and now he came up missing. No. That's what I'm saying. Is that was coming from them?
I don't believe that's coming from them, but I don't. It's the, like, how I gotta put it. Like, these people that's speaking up for them at these press conferences are voicing that, but they're not necessarily saying, no, that's not what we're saying.
Exactly.
But they're letting these people come up there.
And who are those people that are saying that?
You got Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton. Those are the two headlines.
Well, you know how those go.
Well, I mean,
and it's like,
that's their bread and butter. So
and that's why this time. I'm sorry, go ahead and finish that, because I got something.
But it's like, if you were in that situation, would you, if you had an activist or somebody that's speaking on behalf of the family and they read these things on legal terms, would you as a parent tell that person, no, that's not what we're saying? Would you continue to let them push out that message to the news media and the public that said this is about race, or trying to make it about race? Would you stop them and say,
absolutely.
no?
First of all, why I don't understand why. First, from my understanding, Benjamin Crump is a civil rights attorney. I don't understand why he's involved in this. It's not anything to do with civil rights.
She sprinkled that racism on there.
Right. And the same thing with...
You know what this needs?
Yeah, with Al Sharpton. Like, I don't understand why Al Sharpton is involved. Is he an attorney at all?
No, he's a reverend.
I know that, but is he also an attorney?
I don't believe his title is Reverend D.A.L. No, I don't think he is. Yeah, I don't think he is.
But regardless, I'm like, yeah, I just don't... Outside of making sure that it becomes, headlines and stuff, because if you attach those names to it, it's going to get attention. It's going to get more noticeable, which I can understand, wanting that is like, hey, look, no, people need to know my fucking kid just came up missing. And I feel like it ain't really nothing being done about it. So I can understand that aspect of, allowing, people like this to even attach themselves to it. But my own thought process would be like, why do you want to be a part of this outside of something else to put on your your list of accomplishments of things that you've taken part of and people you've stuck up for.
And by not having talked about this when it first happened, us recording and talking about it, it gave, well, I know I did, and just sat back and watched everything in terms of who's going to say what. The fact that Al Sharpton and Benjamin Crump got up there and like all the questions you asked in terms by not seeing it are 100% legit. And those are the questions that the average person should be asking going into this. But unfortunately, they do not, because they were driven just like the parents of Nolan Wills were driven by this all of a sudden outcast. And it's real weird to me that now all of a sudden that white people are your enemy, and Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton or whoever got in these parents' ear was able to make them think that. And like you said, it's like they didn't necessarily come out and say, no, that's not what happened, but they didn't necessarily stop them from saying it either, which is kind of like, oh, you giving it the go ahead to see how far it gets. And there was a lot of questions just by, like I said, us not talking about it and just watching everything else transpire. It was like, well, this doesn't make sense. I was like, as parents, you, meaning the mom and the dad, moved into a predominantly white community to get your child apparently out of a bad, predominantly black community, which the dad had to be from because the mom is not 100% black. And let's add that in because it always is talked about. So it's like you raised your child in a white community, yet you don't know any of his friends and you thought it was so dangerous and all this other stuff. That didn't add up. So why would you mean? Meaning that why would you include it? Why would you include race, meaning the parents? Why would you allow Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton to lead down that direction versus like D said, it's like instead of stopping it, you move to that area, you put your child in this predicament, or not even a predicament, you just wanted a better life for them. And it just so happened to be around white folks. That was takeaway number one. Number two is, it's like all the black community that's screaming and crying about justice and stuff. Let's be 100% honest, because I've been on this planet long enough to know when niggas is bullshitting. I know for a fact that if Nolan Wells were to hang around like black people, they would not want his ass around there because he hang around the white people. I already know how that goes. He associated with all white people. It's like the black friends that he had, they were
neighborhood that he lives in.
Exactly. But it's like those people that are sitting out here crying and bawling now, they wouldn't have anything to do with Nolan Wells because he deal with the other side.
Well, I mean, that's it's a point, but I don't see how one has anything to do with wanting from there with them wanting justice.
Oh, no, yeah. I'm sorry. I did. No. And I'm not saying for the parents. I'm sorry if that went that way, but I'm not saying for the parents not to want justice.
You're saying the black people that are screaming about justice, you're saying those people wouldn't hang out with him anyway because he hang out with white people. Why does one equal the other? Why does, just because I wouldn't hang.
The same reason, remember that little girl that went over to Africa?
For example, real quick, I wouldn't hang out with Charlie Kirk. but I still think that he shouldn't be killed for what he was saying, and the person who did kill him should be held responsible for it. I would want justice for that. So I don't see how the two correlate. Not seeing somebody that you would hang out with and still wanting them to be justice for them coming up dead.
Because your mind state again is different from the people that I'm talking about. And these are and trust me, it's like if you haven't kept up with not knowing like what's going on with the parents and the Benjamin Crump and the Al Sharpton, then you would be like, oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Because those people do that. Same thing with the little girl that went to Africa and got murdered by the white dude.
Ooh, I forgot.
It happened. I want to say it was this year. A black. I'm gonna pull it up in a second. She was a black influencer. Gets engaged to this white dude and go to Africa and then dude winds up murdering or whatever.
I did hear about
there were
that.
people on the internet saying that's what you get.
I did
for
see that.
So
you know what? I do see what you mean.
Yeah. So it's like so to that it's like for them saying that's what you get. You got those same people. Hold on, you got those same people.
Fucking idiots, even attention or even.
But still, that's what's driving it, and this is what the conclusion that I came up with by watching all of this. So my thing is this: is that black people will sit up here and they'll cry about black community and all this black stuff and all this blackness. And when anybody does something wrong against black people, then it's the greatest sin ever committed. You know, I've seen more destructive shit said by black people to other black people over this case just because they shared views like you in terms of asking a logical question in terms of what happened. Just like you said when you was like, you trying to make the pinpoint and the connections to it. These are logical shit. But there are people out there, just like again with this little girl that got murdered in Africa, that'd be like, that's what he gets. That's what he gets for hanging out with white people. And I'm going to teach my kid not to hang out with the white man because he's the most dangerous person out there. But that's the idiot shit that happens. So when people talk about black community and getting black together, oh, what happened with D.L. Hughley and Officer Tatum? It's like these niggas is going at it. Nobody wants to have a discussion. The first thing that comes out to lose their mouth is name calling. And I was like, I ain't gonna knock it. I was like, I like D.L. Hughley as a comic, but I don't need this nigga to me going out preaching or the gospel telling the people how they should think. It's like, no, that's not how the earth operates. You're supposed to be able to sit down, have a discussion, lay down the facts, and based off of those facts, you should be, with a logical mind, be able to come to a conclusion or disagreement whether you are right or whether you are wrong. The problem today is that black people cannot be wrong for shit. I watched it ever since this case happened. Anytime anybody come up and say something, the other motherfucker's dead wrong and they every name in the book. So there is no unity. That cohesiveness that y'all preach and talk about so much about, it doesn't exist. You are like sugar and hot Kool-Aid. You are not sticking together at all. So erased all this, oh, we need to come together. That shit is not going to happen. And that's all I came to conclusion with this. Like, this shit is out the water. I was like, niggas ain't going to be able to get shit together for stupid shit like this.
Yeah, I think you, just like I've said before, it's like you convolute a lot of the we have, it's the issue of the people who have sense are not the ones that are speaking the loudest. So the ones that don't have sense, they get looked at as the representative of the majority when they are usually not. So it's like,
and that's
I'm
not
pretty
okay.
sure. No, it's not okay, but it's just like, why my whole mindset to it is still, why give it energy? It's just like, if you know that that's not, the majority, and that's not, and it's not even logical, it's just like, why even give it attention? Why take your attention off? Try to take your attention away from the things that do matter, and then focus on the nonsense that people who have no power to change anything, who are not going to get up to go do anything about anything, why give them attention? And as opposed to focusing on the issue and possibly doing something to forward the cause. That's my whole mindset on it, because I'm like, I know for a fact that we don't all think like that, and the majority of the black folks that I talk to don't think like that. And it's like the ones that do are the only ones that's getting shared and likes and reposted and stuff. And it's like, look at these accounts and you look at these videos, and then you look at, if you have time to take a look at the people who are sharing them and the accounts that are sharing them. And it's like the majority of them are going to be half of them are going to be a bunch of other ignorant motherfuckers who probably, actually do feel the same way. And then a lot of those are going to be bots. And a lot of those are going to be, go ghost accounts or all this other stuff. So it's just like, those things are the most salacious content is going to get, the most shares. And the ones that do have some sense about them, they're not going to get shared because it's not going to produce a strong reaction, or they'll get shared, or they'll come across the people who are the ignorant motherfuckers just so that they can get a bunch of negative comments on their posts. And then if you look at those comments, those negative comments on the ones that actually are making sense, a lot of them are going to be bots as well. They're going to be a bunch of blank ass pictures with some random numbers for names and like names that don't really make sense. You go look at their profile. They got 2 shared, like 2 posted pictures. One of them is their profile picture. They got 4 followers and 4,000 people that they following. So it's like all this shit is just algorithmic, and it's all bots and shit. From what I've been seeing, there's a lot of shit coming from Russia and China where they do all this shit. They create these bot farms and they point them shits over here in America. Hey, what's going on over there in America? And let's see how we can stir this shit up some more. Because China is going to hell right now. And they are fucking, they are looking for any way possible to slow any competitors down.
But do you?
So I'm not ignoring the fact that there are ignorant motherfuckers out there that do, say stupid shit like
touche,
this.
my friend, touche. All of a sudden, I'm like, you know what? You're right. I don't give a shit anymore.
But do you?
So I'm like, I can't give that shit attention. Like as soon as I see it, first of all, if I see a post and it's gonna sound a little fucked up, I see a post with somebody got on a bonnet and some big ass eyelashes, and they in their car, and they doing all of this and shit, I'm scrolling. I'm keep scrolling. I'm not fucking watching.
But do you think that that black, whatever it is, I'm gonna call it fatigue or whatever, do you think it's absolute? Like you just can't say nothing. It doesn't matter what you're going through, how fucked up you grew up or whatever. I could come to you and say, man, I grew up in the trenches. Like I've been out here struggling and grinding and eating milk for cereal and mayonnaise sandwiches. Like my struggle is absolute, or what I'm going through is absolute. You can tell me a whole story about you some other race, and you can tell me a whole story about how you lost your mom, your kid, you went to a crack house, you got prostituted, all the other stuff. But as soon as I speak, because I'm a black person, it's absolute. You can't challenge it in any way, shape, or form.
I don't think that's black fatigue, but I get what you're saying.
Not fatigue, but yeah.
But I feel like that's a human thing because
you don't think people gravitate to it because of the black person, especially if they bring up slavery.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's like, you keep saying, saying the same thing, start from the bottom and all this other stuff. But it's one thing I be telling G a lot when he go on his rants and
because I'm angry and I want my soup.
The crazy people. Shit that he went through in the South and all the other stuff. And I'm like, look, the worst thing that happens to a person is the worst thing that's ever happened to them. So it's like you really can't expect somebody to understand what your struggle is and vice versa. Because if you can't use your struggle and your life story to diminish what somebody else has gone through. Like if you take a toddler and you lose his favorite toy, that's the worst fucking thing that's ever happened to him. Mm-hmm. And as an adult, you're going to look at him and be like, you know what? He's freaking the hell out. I get it. He's a toddler. He's lost his fucking favorite toy. But why does that, but that, that logic still applies to, other adults as well. Obviously, there should be less of a temper tantrum about it, obviously, but you really can't expect a person to, not complain about their situation when it's the worst thing that they've, they've gone through. It's like they don't know worse.
I'd have told that little kid, shut the fuck up. I lost my arm and arm and you're crying about a singing crocodile. Right. Shut the fuck up.
So it's like, that's, I think that's what that is. Because people have gone through other things. And then also it is, people are tired of hearing about the same struggles, especially when they haven't gone through those specific struggles. Mm-hmm. And in their minds, they say, hey, look, do something about it.
Right.
And it's just like, sometimes there are things that can be immediately done about it, and sometimes that there aren't. And it's just like, unless you have been in that situation or are in that situation and, and have come out of it, it's just like, it's only really so much that you can say. But people are at this point, people are becoming less and less empathetic to other people's struggles. And
but
it's always like, oh, stop crying and go get up and work and pull yourself up by your bootstraps and all this other shit. And it's like, some people ain't got boots.
Yeah, it's gonna be the year 3001, and motherfuckers still gonna be saying that same shit.
People are gonna be complaining about this situation,
like
especially
3,000 years ago.
I can tell you right now. Again, it was looking into process this, and you are correct. I was like, maybe I get a little extreme. I was like, my brain likes to take off and think of all the bad shit that can happen in scenarios. Like Doctor Strange looking at, the 14 million different outcomes.
Right.
I was like, so to me, even just based off of this, you're right. It's like it shouldn't care. And the reason why that's so important is that even after all of this, regardless of what the facts come out to be in this particular case I'm talking about, regardless of what the facts are going to come out to, people are not going to do shit about it. Like you said, same thing with George Floyd. Like, what did that produce? All that shit and all the tearing up that they did. I was like, did it improve anything in terms of Black community? Did Black communities unite and start building anything since George Floyd? They have cops stop beating the shit out of motherfuckers that they pull over or shooting them. Like, nah, none of this stop. Did George Floyd actually do anything in terms of what was the outcome that the rage required? What did that equal out to? Which is nothing. And it's going to be no different from what this case is going to be. Just like I get infuriated by it because I'm like, damn, it's like y'all sit here and talk this shit about Black and how we get treated and all this other shit. But it's like, look how you treat your own. It's like, so to me, it's like, so that gets me outraged, of course. I was like, but you're right. It's like at the end of this, regardless of what the outcome, whether the white boys murdered him, whether he drowned, whether somebody else did it, it don't matter. There's not going to be anything that comes out of it that benefits.
Clarify, it doesn't matter to.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to regular people, random people out in the world.
The people that are sitting out there. I'm not
story.
talking about his parents or anything like that. It's not going to matter to the people that are now chiming in, talking shit.
Right.
The celebrities and all this other shit. It's not going to matter to them.
Yeah, the case is going to get resolved, and then they're going to go
they're just going to move right about the way. And so are the other people that are crying that had nothing to do with it, don't even know the dude, don't live in the state, none of that shit. They're going to sit there and rant and rave, like you said, until the shit ends, and then nothing's going to be of it. So that was my understanding. It was like, well, fuck it. It's like, you are right. It's like, what's the point? I like, shit ain't going to change. It's like, well, you think Black kids are going to stop being friends with their white friends because of something fucking D.L. Hughley said or some shit like that? It's like, no, it's like this shit ain't. You think Black people are going to actually bond together and actually form a united front and actually get their shit together? Oh, nigga, I know for a fact that ain't going to happen. I was like, so I've got popcorn ready. Like, yeah, let somebody come up and tell that lie.
As soon as it happened, they're going to put another liquor store on the corner.
Right.
Just so you can be distracted by something else again. But do you think some of these celebrities and these civil rights leaders need to, they need to be rechecked? Because some of them, they don't come out and put their support behind the Black people that face the gun violence from their own. Like, they don't even come out and voice their opinion. This Black person came in this motherfucker to shoot this other Black person, and we need to be held up.
I haven't seen them like when it comes to the gang shit and just like trying to.
But I mean, like
stopping gang violence and stuff. I've seen them.
Yeah, but they
come out and
I don't think I see them enough when they come out and they say the mayor or the elected official in your city need to do more stuff about the Black on Black crime that goes on in your neighborhood. We need to go out there and pick the right mayor. We need to hold our mayor accountable. Our police, they need to do better. We need to hold our parents and brothers and sisters to make sure they don't have their kids out here in the street. I don't see them even.
I hate to take a political jab, but that's Democratic sucker shit, because everything that you just said, did none of that shit happen when the illegals was here. Them motherfuckers was sitting there fighting tooth and nail to keep their ass in. You didn't hear shit about what you just said.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that I think their version of doing that is their constant preaching of, you know, going out and voting and stuff. Because when they do that, I've seen them when they say, hey, look, you guys are complaining about, you know, the laws as far as, you know, criminals being put back out on the street. And then when you find out, you know, this person did this horrible, you know, atrocious act, then it comes out, hey, this person's been arrested 23 times for the damn near the same crime. Why is this person back out on the street? And I hear them say, hey, look, these are the reasons why you need to be voting on, you know, on your judges and the people who put those judges in place, because those are the people who are letting these fools back out on the street.
Yep.
So I feel like that's what their version of, you know, of talking about that is. But I think it'll be political. It'll be political suicide just about for them to come out and speak against a Democratic mayor.
Yeah, but and even now, like I gotta
to a crime and shit.
I gotta say, we gotta stop listening to the politicians and look at what they're doing, because when you say stuff like that, it makes me think about how they move and how they put their own interests forward over everyone else. Because when they go in there and vote, they only voting for their best interest. Whether if they are a Democrat or a Republican, they can be a Democrat voting for a Republican that's going to have their best interest when they're trying to push forth a bill to get their new mall built, but they getting holed up because they got a permit issue, but they need to vote this mayor in to get their permit across because it's a multi-million-dollar deal and they trying to make money, or they did some backhand deal, but shit. That's what I believe. I believe they are only going in there voting for their best interest. Like, hey, we're going to clean up the city. We're going to get the trash out the thing. No, we ain't going to do that, because the same notions as when you ask the politician, like, hey, we got this issue right here. Well, how much is it going to cost to fix it? Or it's going to cost X amount of dollars. Do we have it? Yeah, we have it. Well, how is it going to benefit me? That's how I see a lot of politicians.
Right.
Nowadays, how does this issue, or them fixing the issue or cleaning up or doing something for whatever race, how is it going to benefit them, and whether if it makes sense? Hey, I'm going to hold off on this until election time. I'm going to do it right at this perfect time to make me look extra good. Or you having a fundraiser on the south side, blah, blah, blah. You handing out book bags for going back to school. I'm going to come there with $10,000 and give you $10,000. But it's election time. Vote.
Right.
Take my card, like that. Like that's how I see a lot of politicians now. Like
the best movie I think Eddie Murphy ever made that was the realest was Distinguished Gentleman.
Yeah.
And I was like, after seeing it for the first time in theaters at the age that I was, I didn't think anything about it. I had the hots for Sheryl Lee Ralph, because I ain't gonna lie. Anyway, but it was that movie at that time. I'm not understanding politics until I got older. So everything that you just said in terms of like they in it for self, it's like absolutely. I was like, and now to me, what I'm taking from it now that Trump has been president is that he ripped the mask off. He yanked the curtain down. So now you can clearly see what's behind the curtain, and you have no excuse for saying why you believe in one or the other. So if you were a Democrat, you had no reason to say like, oh, I love the Democrats because they're not crooks. Well, they just showed you that they were able to steal over $76 billion in funding for DEI and all that other bullshit. They were able to show you that they stole like damn near $10 billion in Minnesota off all that phony aid shit. They were able to show you that they stole damn near $10 billion out in California off they phony aid shit. And now they back in New York finding money that they done stole. So everybody's a fucking crook, especially in politics, because why else would you get into this business? Everybody that stepped foot in politics walked out rich. That's why it's like they follow Nancy Pelosi stock trades. It's because she never fails. This bitch ain't spent one day in economics or learning how to be a stock trader, but somehow she's 80% on fire.
Yeah,
like, how does that work?
Man,
it's like
what's that little app they got?
Yeah, because that's what they do.
Make that automatically anytime Nancy Pelosi buys some
stock.
And you follow right. Yeah, because they sit on the boards that sit there and know what the vote is going to be before it happens. It's like, so they know the outcome of what the stock going to be. And again, it's like, I don't get mad at it. I'm like, shit, that's fucking ingenious.
They got
I was like, but you get caught at something, you get caught at it. And it's like, they just got caught at it. It's like, all right, nigga, yeah, you stealing money.
Good old Martha Stewart threw her.
Yeah, and see, now that to me is bullshit.
Because somebody told her, like Cat Williams, somebody was like, psst, psst, hey, bitch, if you don't move your money, it's going to be gone.
It's going to be gone.
She moved her money. And they threw her ass in jail.
And that shit happens on the day with everybody.
So where I'm from, I was like, hookup.
Yeah. How did Ilhan Omar go from being worth $5 to $30 million, and then when everybody started looking at it, how you make all this damn money? Then she downgraded. Oh, I only got like 130,000 of it. That was a mistake, nigga. You'd have went to jail instantly.
I can't wait to see
on your taxes that you made $30 million, nigga, and then tell the IRS, "Oops, that my bad. I'm only worth 19." Nigga, you going to jail? You are going to jail.
I can't wait to see how
you are going to jail.
How much Trump is worth when he get out of
that nigga.
It's gonna be that. It's gonna be bad.
And you know what? Fuck you niggas that hate Trump. Good for him. Because they tried to screw that nigga on everything, and he ended up with all the shit. He ended up with all this. He ended up with way more than if they would have let him just win that second election with Joe Biden. This shit would have all been over. They would have had a free ride from here on out.
Vengeance. He was like, okay.
No. But think about it. Had he won that 2020 election, had he won that, it would have been over. He would have been a lame duck president for a second term. The Democrats wouldn't have let him get shit passed, and it would have been over with. Then Joe Biden or whoever they wanted, Democrat, would have been able to step into the office and then take off from there. Instead, what happened was they fumbled the ball. Dude got back in just based off of how he was playing the game, got all the shit. He got the Senate, got the House, got the Supreme Court, got the popular vote, got the Electoral College. He wrecked motherfucking not one, but two TV networks, CNN and MSNBC, which is now MS Now. They have no money. He wrecked them. And not only that, he single-handedly destroyed a political party because now the Democrats have moved on to the socialist shit, which nobody gets down with. And the only reason that happened was because motherfuckers was mad at Trump. They hated Trump so bad that they opened the door to all this weirdo shit, and the weirdos came in, and now they've taken over the party. These niggas are preaching straight up socialism and communism, which does not work. And now people are finding out in New York that, hey, you know what? This shit was stupid.
Yes,
but Trump did that single-handedly.
I don't think he can take credit for all of that.
Yeah, he got to take credit.
It was in spite of him. Credit. It wasn't because it wasn't because of him. It was.
Look at Spain.
No. And you know why I know that's correct? Go look up the 48 Laws of Power and the Art of War. Every strategy that's played in there, Trump has played it to some extent, even with him talking about people and getting people pissed off. Because in one of those strategies is that if you throw your enemy off emotionally, it's like the fight is done. It's like boxers that tell you that. Tyson will tell you that. You get a motherfucking emotionally shook, the fight is over with because you cannot fight in fear. That's why boxers get up in each other's face and talk all that shit because it's a mind game. And he did that with a whole entire motherfucking political party and wrecked them. He wrecked shop. He got them niggas, and they still talk about we got to reverse what Trump did. It's like, nigga, Trump is on his way out.
Every time I see any kind of political, like a Democratic political campaign, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna be the one to fight Trump and this thing. And it's just like, dude, why is that your whole message? Like, tell me what you're gonna actually do. What is fighting Trump? What is that included?
I think it's because of that USAID. he got rid of that USAID. Have you noticed? Like I have noticed they ain't got no money right now.
They ain't got no money. They don't have
no money right now, and they are fighting every type of way to keep you distracted. And it works. We are fighting against Trump. I see all these goddamn ads. He's going to go up against Trump. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. I'm like no. Like you said, tell me what you're going to do, because right now your message cannot just be we fighting up against Trump. Like he's on his way out. Unless he do some magic trick or do something and go to the third world or something and he run for a third term.
He came to Cuba.
I don't think that shit gonna happen. Well, yeah. Fucking Cuba.
They are so these motherfuckers raised, so they claim, and keep this in mind, when Kamala ran, $2.1 billion, historical, record breaking. Never heard anything about it. Like, what the fuck? On the news, you'll see like 1.7, but they said,
but they're still in the hole.
No, and that's the case. The old girl Lindy Lee. If you go look up for her, she was one of the Democrat strategists that was raising money for them in their campaigning and everything. She's like, yeah, this shit came out close to like $2.1 billion that we were able to get for them, and through all that shit. And like you said, now
I mean, it was just because it was going against Trump and making sure Trump don't win.
It was that and the fact that they had all those other programs linked to Act Blue and USAID, and they was funneling money to it, because now that they shut that shit off, it's like you $2 million in a hole. You just went from $2.1 billion, not a few years ago. Now you're $2 million. Where all those people come from that was donating shit?
I'm guessing it's not shut off. They just carefully monitoring where money was being taken out to go, because apparently, maybe if I'm wrong, but USAID, that shit is an unlimited pot. Like, that is not no thing that they refilled every year. Apparently, that just like funding for stuff to where it's there if you get approved, or you get something signed in Congress, or you pass a bill to where you can, attach or go for the money that's in that pot or something like that. But at USAID, they was even talking about how some of the rap music is not even number one on the chart anymore, and they linked it back, whether if it's true or not, whether if they linked it back to USAID that they were funneling money to keep up the charts or something. Shit. I'm like, I would that sounds like, why even go that far? Like, why even?
Because, man, that's fucking programmed to keep Cardi B at number one. Keep pushing dumbass music so the kids come out dumb. Our kids is dumb in a motherfucker. I'm sorry. I was looking at the records, keeping up with them as the late. It's a rap. Sorry,
it's a rap. You that on the last couple ones, just how far they. And I think COVID really set the schools and the system back a lot. Like, just having them stuck in at home and doing that online shit for, what was it, like half of I think it was majority of the whole school year. It was like that shit set them back, and they still haven't been able to recover from that. And it's just like, instead of like maintaining the expectations and standards, and it was just like, which I can kind of get, because it's like, if you maintain the standard that they were not able to get up to because of COVID, and then you pretty much just gonna have to hold everybody back a full year, and then it's just like, shit, fuck all it, like. They all get money. Yeah, they all get punished and held back a year because of something that they had no control over. So it's just like they lowered the standard, which I don't agree with either. But it's just like, hell, shit. I don't know what else do you do other than fucking. I would have been like, hey, look, we this is unacceptable. We have to do a mandatory summer school for a year or maybe 2 years.
Well,
how long were the kids out of school?
So from 19.
You talking about during COVID?
Yeah, during COVID.
I thought it was that first year, maybe almost on the whole year. Yeah,
it wasn't longer than, because we were out in terms of like work-wise.
Then they doing the virtual thing. With the virtual thing, them kids was straight bullshitting during the virtual. It's like, that was.
Well, I took, when you say out, I meant outside of the actual classrooms. Right. So because I'm like, that virtual shit, it wasn't really.
Yeah, that shit was.
It wasn't very. It was okay. It was better than nothing. Yeah,
because didn't the shutdown altogether last about 2 years, right?
Well, it shut down, but some things open if you have social distancing and you have things in place. Masks,
as far as schools.
No, just the whole overall COVID shutdown until things open back up. I mean, here.
Well, it depends on, because you have those essential businesses that had to stay open. GameStop, Walgreens.
Yeah, I'm talking about where things. The day that things went back to normal overall, meaning that they said,
that was about 2 years.
Oh, okay. They said, fuck it, everything, y'all can go back to doing what y'all was doing. Yeah, I want to say it was some time. I just didn't know exactly how much. Well, but 2 years.
Yeah,
because I think I left work March of 2019. I think that's when it started, right? 19?
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
March is when I left work. When we all got furloughed. And then I didn't go back to work until, I want to say it was February. No, it was October of that following year.
I think I got a little laid off in September and didn't go back until February. So yeah, that was
okay.
That was
then it couldn't have been that.
Maybe
it was October of that same year,
because it first started in April when they announced the all the stuff that was going on. They were going to shut down everything. I think that was 2020 maybe, but they heard about it in late November of 2019, and then when everything started to get more serious, everybody joking online, posting codes, and I'm gonna, hodl all the goddamn bleach and toilet paper. But then once they started to announce it, I think April is when it happened. And then from that point on, you had all these businesses closed, but all the essential businesses still stayed open. Walgreens.
Essential stuff was never fully closed down. But I'm just talking about like other things that weren't necessarily essential. I think it was October of that same.
Yeah, I think that full shutdown. I know October of everything was just.
Yeah, I think I went back to work in like October.
Ghost town, really? In October?
I believe.
So
Because I know when I was laid off, it was September. Well, when I got laid off, and then from that point on, everything was just spot open here, closed here, cases up, cases down. But shit, speaking of COVID.
Yeah, you was right. Yeah, because the lockdown instead started here for the Illinois timeline.
It was March.
It was March 13th, 2020.
Yeah, 2020. Yeah, March. And then April is when that.
And then when did it open back up?
I will probably say, I know when my job, I was still surprised my job was still open. I'm like, I wanted that 600.
Because soon as I started, I was going stir crazy. I'm like, that's when I was in here building shit, built a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah,
I'm like, whoa. When did they allow restaurants back open?
All right, so it says there's no single end date for the COVID-19 lockdowns as restrictions ended at different times across the different countries and states. Initial spring 2020 stay-at-home orders began lifting a few weeks after or months. The broad global emergency declarations concluded by May of 2023.
Okay, well, yeah.
Yeah, well, that was
so
just
that's 2022, but there was a lot of shit that, like you talking about the restaurants, then they were able to come back.
So I feel like
it wasn't that long. I wasn't out of work that long because when I went back to work, I went back to a restaurant.
But what were you still doing?
It was in October. I know that for a fact, but I don't remember what year. I don't remember if it was the same year or if it was the following year.
What you doing? Sit down or just order out, or you doing?
I was doing sit down.
Oh, they were actually doing. Oh, okay, man. Yeah, but speaking of COVID, you been checking out your boy Dr. Fauci?
Yeah,
I just seen the clip. It makes him taking a fifth on every single question.
I don't understand why people aren't outraged and really have pitchforks and flames and like trying to meet this motherfucker outside the courthouse. I was like, that is simply, to me, is like, that's mind blowing. Like, this person actually got people dead, and that ain't even a question now. It ain't even a question of if he did it. It's like this dude, they literally posted up there and got people dead. And he just get to walk around. Ain't nobody mad about that shit.
So what was the point of the hearing?
It wasn't well, I guess to start off, Joe Biden gave him a pardon going back to 2014 or 12 years, going all the way back. Everybody thought that was suspicious in itself. But then I guess his medical diary got leaked, or they got a hold of it because he was typing everything in on the computers in which the government have access to, and he was going on in this diary stating that, hey, I just made up the social distancing, I just made up the mask. Like, that stuff didn't work at all in any way, shape, or form. It's just something I had to present from my side. We could have done things better, but somewhere down the line, he was making money with whether if he passed certain Pfizer, Moderna, and what's the
Johnson and Johnson,
and the Johnson and Johnson. If he was passing or approving some of these vaccines for these companies,
recommending them because he couldn't pass them.
I'm sorry, he couldn't pass them.
But his word was basically law at that point.
Yeah, definitely.
Nobody outstood Dr. Fauci when it came to that COVID.
So at a certain point, you start to do your research and start to ask questions. COVID over with. everybody knows COVID was going to eventually end, or if it was. But then now you have more questions. But then they started to question him on certain things. But then, of course, as we all saw, he pleaded the fifth on the United States 111 times. And it kind of gave verification like, we have videos of you on talk shows and other TV shows and panels stating, I have nothing to hide from Congress. I will go in front of Congress and the Senate, the House, whoever, and speak and talk. I'm an open book. But now when it does happen, you plead the fifth on every question. What color is the rug, sir? What color is your tie, sir?
Due to
what color is your hair, sir?
Attorney's advice under the Constitution of the law, I would like to take the fifth.
Some of the speakers, they were saying, well, you got a pardon going all the way back to 2014 or 12 years. Like,
on the advice of my lawyers, I would like to.
But you got a pardon going all the way back 12 years, and you gave up that right once you got a pardon. You can't plead the fifth. Like, even your legal counsel is not recognized. They kicked his legal counsel out the hearing. So I believe he have to go back, and I believe he just like kind of purged himself. But then, as you state, why are people not mad? Like, you got up there on a podium with Joe Biden, because we all know, Donald Trump came out with Operation Warp Speed, but he wasn't pushing on people. If you don't take the vaccine, you're going to lose your job. You're going to do that. You're the problem. That was Joe Biden and the Biden administration and Dr. Fauci getting up there saying the reason why cases keep rising is because of the unvaccinated. Then people got laid off, people got fired, they got scrutinized, and all this other shit that's going on. But it didn't make any sense, because you kept saying if you get the vaccine, you're not going to catch it, you're not going to spread it, you're not going to get sick or any of this stuff. And I understand if you had to get the vaccine in order to keep your job, you had to do what you had to do to pay your bills and take care of your family. But of course, if you keep telling people you're not going to get sick if you take the vaccine, why would I need to worry about if a person is unvaccinated don't have the vaccine? It doesn't make any sense. If you're saying that, and then of course, as the timeline went on, you see him saying it's a 90% effective rate, then it's a 70% effective rate, 50% effective rate. Now we want you to get boosters every week, but it doesn't prevent you from getting COVID. The message was, by that point, it prevents you from getting more sick and sick.
And you know what the doctors from the CDC and other organizations found out? That shit was 0%.
And now it's at 0%. But you censored everybody online. You even have the former CEO of YouTube. She came out and said, "Yeah, like I was told to censor anyone talking about the COVID or the vaccine or any of that stuff. Like, you get your account blocked, you get this or any of that stuff." So it kind of just. But now, Dr. Fauci's in a little bit of a hot seat now, because he got to go back up there on the Senate, because so many people did lose their lives. So many people do continue to take the booster shot. And then if some of those videos were real or not, when people got a hold of the vaccine and the side effects, when they opened up the paper, it was blank because they didn't release it yet. And some of the adverse side effects, people are experiencing those today. Because I still ask people that bring it up, and I'm going to go get my booster shot. Like, why? Like, it doesn't prevent you from getting COVID. You know what it does? And even our top doctor here in our state, I was watching all those goddamn interviews and press conference. News reporters were asking her, why is every death labeled a COVID death? If I get into a motorcycle accident and my head get chopped off, is my death labeled a COVID death? She said yes. And people were like, how? Well, we don't know if COVID contribute to your motorcycle accident. That doesn't make sense.
You sneezed in your helmet and the shit got inside your helmet, that could do it. But you had COVID and you sneezed in that shit.
I'm like, that shit doesn't make sense.
It's possible. You getting struck by lightning and having COVID is different. But a couple of those apparently.
But it's the same thing that they were saying when it comes to those the VAERS report and stuff. And when they were looking at how many people were actually harmed or died because of getting the shot versus whatever, other issues that they had going on. It's just like the amount of people that were dying and the amount of work and effort it would take to verify whether or not this person died from COVID as the root cause or is from one of them other all-cause mortalities. And the same thing for the vaccine. It's like, did this person develop this issue because of the vaccine, or was it already a lifestyle issue that was going on that was, leading up to this, and it just happened to be, around the same time that they got the shot or whatever. And it was just like, it's just all that correlation versus causation shit. And it's like it gets real tricky and easy to slide the numbers and cover your ass or make something seem a little bit more
definitely
a little bit more effective or
because even
dangerous than it should
and it's I believe in his diary they mentioned something about whether if it's true or not, because you got all these people out here that claim they read something that how they tried to come back the number by saying, well, we're going to lower the flu cases and just propped up all the COVID cases because all the symptoms are similar in every way, shape, or form. Upper respiratory infection in the lung, body ache, sore. These are some of the same symptoms as a cold that people get if you don't typically take care of yourself. Because during them times, if you got sick, you got COVID. People completely forget the cold exists, rhinovirus exists, all these other different type of cold that's up under this umbrella that you can catch or they can get flagged. Like hell, like how many times, I had to go get a swab in my nose every goddamn week because I'm like, hey, I'm not going to, take the COVID shot just yet because they just said you can still catch it if you're getting booster shot once a week or once a month. But then you got the homeless people out here. Then they tried to start to pay the people. We're going to pay you $100 gift card if you get the goddamn COVID shot. And then you got these homeless people lining up, giving false names because they don't have no ID. And they say, give me my gift card. Give me my $100 gift card. When you start to pay people to take a shot, that becomes completely different from saying, we want to make sure you are okay. We want to make sure you're not spreading anything. But then it got even more fucked up because then they go back to say, hey, I'm a homeless person. You just gave me this $100 gift card. Ain't no money on this card because they already got used and swapped by the crooked staff in there. And then, of course, they tried to sue, but then, who was going to go out there and represent all the homeless people that were just lining up days in advance just to continue to get a booster shot every month or even 2 days out the week just to get that.
Wow.
That shit was a hot mess.
Now, you want to, this was crazy, but it happened. I knew a guy and his buddy started doing the swabs when they first came out. And I don't know if y'all remember, but you would take a swab, jam the swab up your nose, and then put it in there and submit it to see if you were infected or not. There was a dude that was making money off of doing those tests, and he got money to do the test to the point where, and the guy that was telling me his story, I'm not going to reveal who he was, but he was like, this cat in school, he was the worst student. He's a bum, whatever. But now
this, did tell us this before.
Yeah, now this dude out there in at the auctions buying Lamborghinis and shit.
Yeah, because you did tell us this.
Yeah,
really?
Because that's how much money he got paid getting swabs of people information. Now, mind you, when you stick a swab up your nose, that's all DNA that's coming out of there. You're giving a DNA swab to the government to know exactly who and where you are. And you putting your name on it and your handwriting and everything because you got to fill it out. And it was like $25 a test. This dude made a mint.
Wow.
Of amount of people that he had coming through there, swabbing their nose, voluntarily giving their information to the government. Now, without this program, they would have no clue. But with this program, now the government can pull out your thing, your labs at any time and know exactly who and where you are at any given moment. If you commit a crime and your DNA matched, you are now in the system because you voluntarily gave it to. And that's just the crooked side of me thinking.
And then especially with you add on, they trying to get these flock cameras all over the country now too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The what?
These flock cameras. They got I forget there's some
trying to make it like China. That's what they're trying to do.
It's like they just surveillance cameras, and it's just like they don't even try to frame, hide them in something else. They surveillance cameras, and they say that it'll cut down on crime, and it's like it was somebody who did something and I forget where it was, but it was in the South, and it was just like, yo, this person did something. They had a mask and everything on. Like they got all these flock cameras around this whole city. So it was like they was able to track this person all the way back from wherever they did the crime at, all the way back to their home.
Oh wow!
And they was like, they got them. So it's just like it's either you or whoever else live in your in that household.
Wow! Damn.
But it's just like
that's some
it's just
Minority Report.
Yeah, that's
shit.
all it is. It's just, and it's facial recognition is connected to AI. So it's just
they got your walk patterns.
Everybody that walk past, they scan their face. Every car that go past, they scan the person face inside along with the driver's license and stuff. And then it was like they was showing that these shits ain't fucking secure. It was like they had a dude. He walked up. He came. It was like a town hall meeting or something. And he showed a recording of himself just hacking into this shit. He was like, dude, it took me 3 minutes to hack into this flock camera.
Wow.
So imagine if somebody with malicious intent, it was like, dude, you just got all this data on people. And it's like, how long do it take before, we just become a complete surveillance state on top of,
but good luck.
On top of the, the shit, because we all know the NSA fucking, they can hear everything. They listen to everything. Yeah. That ain't no fucking real secret anymore.
Dude, but when was the last time you transferred information over to your phone? Like got a new phone? I just got a new phone.
Yeah, I had to recently, not too long.
Yeah. So how did you have to do it? What did you have to do in order to switch all your shit over to your new phone?
We got iPhones, so it's a lot more seamless than Android.
Well, what did you do?
I just took
iCloud.
You get the old iPhone, you open up the new iPhone and tell it, hey, I'm switching my data from one iPhone to another. And then it pops up like this encrypted code on the old phone. And then you hover the camera over with the new phone.
Yep.
And then it syncs. And then it just shoots up into.
So you Apple motherfuckers ain't so special. Just so you know, this is an Android. It did the same thing.
It's the same.
No, you was trying to. If I'd have said that I had to take a 10-step, they'd be like, "Yeah, that's why I got an Apple phone because I didn't have to do 10 steps." No, nigga, you not spent no.
Android had to download the app,
but just that is that the fact that you just did the bar scan and you scanned all your shit automatically knew that. All right, we gonna transfer it to this phone. Like hell yeah. I'm like, dude, data is way simpler. Yeah. At the end of the day, it all ends up as zeros and ones.
But I mean, but I'm saying that is something that's it's like ain't nothing we can do about that. Like that's just it is what it is, especially since Patriot Act and all the other shit. Like we can't do nothing about that. But at the very least, with these fucking cameras that these people, and then they owned by private companies.
Yep.
So it's just like, hey, like, come on now. Like, are we just gonna willingly just allow like blatant,
that's everywhere here.
No, it's not. I don't think it's in Chicago yet. This was
they got it in Michigan because we were going over the facial recognition they got there. Except they don't have it. They had to get rid of it. What happened is that it picked out somebody guilty. Well, it wasn't guilty. It picked out somebody innocent. And was like, it made a mistake. It was an honest mistake if you look at the photos. Like, oh, nigga, I thought it was you. But it was like, so they advanced it to the point where it'll watch your walk patterns, like how you walk, and it'll create an outline to find that rhythm. So you can be in a crowd of 10,000 motherfuckers, but every person has their own specific walk pattern. And it's like now they can detect that versus your face. So if a motherfucker is caught walking away from a scene of the crime and he got a certain type of dip in his hip, then they gonna see like, oh, there that dude is right there. He's the only person that got that dip in his hip because he matches up to this other shit. So it's moved beyond facial recognition. And it's like, yeah, that shit is creepy as fuck. But again, it leads back to that illusion of choice. It's like now that you know about it, an average person wouldn't know about it, but it's like, so your illusion of choice is believing that the system is good when in actuality it's like, no, this motherfucker's watching you every step you take.
Yeah, but even now, when you stream on your video game, people can hack into your camera. Like if these cameras are hooked up to the internet or have internet access, they can get hacked because it's on the IP address in some way, shape, or form. But then
yeah, but it still take a little bit.
But then that's your cue to start your OnlyFans. You like, come to my stream. I'll show you something.
But I mean, it's still,
Yeah,
still
boy.
good.
I thought, man.
Okay.
But then, whatever that privacy issue comes in, because some people just be leaving their cameras over there or whatever, or even down to the goddamn. You heard about Walmart with the damn those cheap ass TV they brought, and you can't log into them unless you have a Walmart account, and then they just feed product to you, and they got a camera.
Oh wow, yeah, that's smart.
Fucking crazy.
I mean, it's brainwashing.
Well, I mean, if it's a Walmart brand TV, then it's no different than Amazon.
Right. Yeah, I get Amazon shit.
But it don't force you to log in though.
Yeah.
When you go into
if you got an Amazon Fire TV, you got to log into Amazon.
We talking about a TV or the Fire Stick itself?
They got Fire Stick, obviously,
but
they have TVs that are Amazon brand TVs.
Oh hell no!
So you got when you log into them, then you need to get to the
show
apps
your
and shit.
show your purchase history.
No, yeah, and not only that, on Prime, it's like when they go to commercial breaks, it'll show you advertisement like, "Would you like toilet paper? Like, is your toilet paper running low? Order now."
You're right, yeah.
And with your remote, you can click and be like, "Yeah, order me some toilet paper."
Yeah.
Like, matter of fact,
it's cool, but at the same time, it's not. It's like there's some Jetsons type shit.
It's
like
Minority Report,
but it's when you really think about it,
it's control,
man. Like,
yeah, but then you get into the area of.
So then, at what point do you just be like, you know what, fuck it, go ahead and then give in to the system?
That's when you ain't got shit to lose. That's when you did all your.
How far does it have to go to get to that point?
Like me, I did all my stupid shit before internet, so I'm cool. I'm like, nigga, I don't do stupid shit no more. So,
but I think it applies the same way with cell phones. Like, oh, you don't got no Android, you don't got no Apple phone, you got a Nextel or a Motorola. Like, you'll just become the odd one. Like, oh, you don't have any of this stuff no more.
Chips.
Yeah,
Eventually, when everybody got a Neuralink. And then you the only person that's still talking to people with your voice. Everybody else just sending instant messages to each other, and you still talking to motherfuckers.
Professor X type shit.
Like, I forgot this movie I used to watch describing exactly what you were talking about, and then they was like people don't even have sex no more. They just like hook up a mind thing to their head, and like that was it. Yeah. Then a baby comes out of the machine, and it just takes your DNA. And I'm like, and
wait, what movie was that?
I found out what it is. It's some crazy ass old movie to where like they don't even.
It sounds like Surrogates, but they did that and Demolition Man.
Readers.
And then like this, I think something happened where the system went down.
I don't think I said it.
But something went down. Something happened where the system went down. But the guy was talking to this girl, but the guy was in a coma or something for years. So he was like, I don't do this mind control sex shit.
Yeah, that was Demolition Man.
It was that. Oh yeah, man, that movie was fucking
mumbo jumbo. The go.
She was like,
get down, like
you do it that weird way 10,000 years ago.
Yeah,
and he
you
was
caveman.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I just wanted to rub on a little booty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Adrian,
it made me think about this. I don't know if you watched it. One of that podcast I sent you with the Dr. Mike Israel, and there's the other Dr. Mike. He's a family medicine doctor, and they were talking about Dr. Mike Israel. He's a fitness. He's got a PhD in sports medicine, sports fitness, and stuff like that. And then the other Dr. Mike, they both Dr. Mike, but PhD Dr. Mike is the fitness guy, and the MD Dr. Mike is a family medicine doctor. And they were just talking about like the future of exercise and just like physical fitness and health and that aspect. And PhD Mike was like, man, in 10 years is like you really not gonna have to go to the gym. He was like, not let alone by like 15, 20 years. It's just like, dude, the way that medicine and AI, especially when they fully go ahead and adopt AI in medicine production and generation and stuff. Yeah. It was like, dude, you're not like they're gonna be able to. It's like it's exponential. It's like technology is just exponential. It's like every time you come up with a new technology, it makes it that much easier to come up with the next technology and so on and so forth. So it's like eventually, it was like the medicine is just gonna be at a point where it's just like, dude, all you got to do is just take this pill and you'll stay at for me 220. You stay at 220 forever, and you'll never have to worry about going up or down. It's like, yeah, you may, go in the gym just to, just to burn off a little extra energy or whatever, but it's just like, you're not going to need to.
And
now,
it
if
was
they
just
could
like,
create a pill for that, for credit scores, that
Oh,
shit
man.
man.
so, but and thinking about that type of stuff, because I'm like, I remember being a little judgmental when they first started with the GLP-1s and stuff, and it's just like, yo, just take your ass to the gym. Like you're gonna go take some medicine, but then I'm like, you know what? If you think about from a logical standpoint, from efficiency, time as well as energy efficiency standpoint, it's just like if you can take a pill to lose weight, why the hell would you go spend months and months and months in a gym, exercising when you can be spending that time, working on a business or working on creative ideas or working on building family relationships and stuff.
If it makes you healthy, like I said,
Yeah.
I'm not against anything, but I don't know what the effect of the new Ozempic. I don't know what
I
the
was just
effect
gonna
of.
bring that up. Yeah,
They're definitely they're still they're tweaking them. They're refining them every couple years, and that's what he was saying. It was like originally they were saying you get the stomach paralysis and all that other stuff, and it was like, dude, they pretty much just about gotten those bugs out. And he was just like, dude, and he was saying like by 2030, he was like, dude, there's gonna be practically no side effects to this stuff. It was like you'll be able to just take this pill. You're not even gonna need a shot because they just came out with the pill like 6 months ago or whatever. It was like they just did the shots. Not even 3 years ago, 4 years ago, they started doing the shots, and now they already got a pill. So it's just like think of how much longer it's gonna take before it's just like they got an aerosol you just shoot up your nose.
Whatever, get my credit score over 820 and
but I think that's
skip leg day.
because of celebrities influencing these movie actors that had access to a fucking illegal drug in which
they're taking Ozempic and a GLP-1.
Right, I'm pretty sure that shit was illegal before they made it legal.
But now it's just like you see all these ads and stuff, but then you hear, hey, this rapper took it, this such and such took it, Oprah took it. Now she look like alien versus,
It threw me off when they said Serena Williams.
Like, what the hell?
Why Serena Williams?
She did a commercial for it.
She was actually doing the shit, and you could see.
Yeah, I mean, but she did a commercial for it.
Yeah, but I'm saying that it just threw me off because I was like, if anybody had a great body, it was Serena Williams.
Oh yeah, in her prime she did.
Even up until like
I ain't gonna lie on my fetish shit.
I don't think she should have took it. That shit didn't make any fucking sense.
Unless
she got paid.
Back in the day when in her prime, I was like, I had dreams of her with boxing gloves. I don't know why.
You want to get beat up, stepped on.
He probably would have been like, beat me with the tennis. Come beat me with that tennis racket. Serena Williams. I want you to.
Jimmy Fox, when he was singing to her at the ESPYs, he was like, can I be your tennis ball?
It ain't illegal, nigga. It ain't on no puffy shit. We both over the age of consent, goddammit. So what I do with the boxing gloves and baby oil at that point is on me.
Oh,
so I was just thinking about that. I'm like, shit, 2030 is around the corner. So I'm like,
yeah.
And I'm like, by the time I turn 50, I'm 34. So I'm like, by the time I turn 50, it's like, what are going to be the effects of being 50? It's like being 50 now is definitely different than being 50 20 years ago.
I can guarantee you that shit for sure.
So do you think it'll be 50 now going to be 20 years from now? It's like, shit.
But do you think it'll be a cliche of you go to the gym? You don't think so?
Yeah, it might be.
Like you could just take this shot. Or why are you going to the gym? Or some of the
It'll
people
be just like people who do the Teslas and stuff. It's like you still looking at people who riding around with like 1969 GTOs and shit. It's just like, why the fuck is you driving that gas guzzling, hard steering, no suspension
ass
car?
Motherfucking classic, nigga.
It's just like, hey, I like the old school way of doing stuff.
They're gonna kill the market because I was just telling him about how they adding more ethanol in the gas.
Oh, yeah.
So all the older cars from like 2005 and lower, those were built with like 1%, 2% ethanol, but the newer cars are built with engine to where they can take up to 10% ethanol in the car. But the older car, if you keep putting that new gas in there, it's gonna kill your car. Like so, because they don't want people to be like, hey, I can get 50 miles to a gallon with my old fucking Buick or some shit from 1995 and drive from state to state. Versus you keep putting this new gas in there.
Well, now on the new hybrids that they got, you can get up to 85 miles on the gallon with the switchovers with the
yeah, I know
the brake regenerating, the regenerative braking. It was like,
no,
yeah,
I was thinking of the
slowing down,
car
they start
company
showing,
is
Rivian.
Thank you, Rivian. Yeah,
Oh,
and they producing shit, and they got one coming from China that they're debating whether it
They
will
ain't
be
letting that
released
shit
here.
come over here.
Now, see, now it could be a possibility to even that shit out because, like you said, right now China is fucking hell,
China
and them
is
motherfuckers,
fucked.
like, dude, they'll take whatever deal that they get, but if they start to allow those cars that they have, it's the same thing. You talking about
But they won't
85?
because they're so much better is a subjective word, but they're fucking better. And it's just like I was looking, it's but their EVs and shit. And I was looking at, I think Rich rebuilds it or Rich builds it or something like that. It's a black bald dude, the dude that put the fucking V8 in a damn Tesla.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. I know what you're talking
But
about.
yeah, I was looking at, his channel and he somehow, I don't know what the fuck he did. I think it was in Canada. I think that's how he did it. But he somehow got like 4 or 5 of their main EVs over to North America so he could test them out and stuff. And it was like, they nice. And it was like, they cheap. Yeah. They like 30, 40 grand. Nice ass EVs. They look luxury on the inside. Outside is still aesthetically pleasing. And they get hella miles to per battery charge and shit. And you just like, dude, why the fuck they not letting these over here in America? And he was like, because you wouldn't be able to sell nothing else unless you able to compete with that.
But we saw how bad Tesla cars did during the winter time. Like you had all
that's just batteries in general.
Yeah, that shit have you out there fucked up, scared. I don't know how I'm gonna get home. This battery ain't working.
And depending on what your usage is for it too. So it's like, so in certain areas I can see where Teslas are definitely
in the South, anywhere below the Mason-Dixon line. It's like anywhere below that.
You see that shit driving in there when wintertime here.
You good down in the South.
That and less mileage if you're in a nice city. So it's like, yeah, I can see it. Like you put around and good for. I was like, yeah, that's cool. But as far as like the US automakers, it's just like that's nothing but a scam within itself, like everything else. They said we're not going to make a product that lasts you 20 years, so we'll see you every 20 years. Like no,
back in here.
Every 5 years now. So you think about it, no car lasts over 200,000 miles or over 5 years, regardless of what it is. You go into the shop to see them about something. And now the way that the cars are set up is that everything is dealership. My neighbor got a 2000, I think it's like a 20 or 21 Altima. But he was talking to me because he saw me working on the other Nissan, and he was like, "Hey, I got to take this car into the dealer to get the light bulb changed." And like looking at his car, knowing what car he got, I was like, "No, you don't." I was like you just fucking squeeze your hand, and I was like, "I'm a little guy." I was like, "But I'm able to squeeze my hand." He's like, "No, it's like I got to get that whole bumper taken off, all that shit taken off, just to put a light bulb in, and I have to go to a dealership in order to do it. Anything goes wrong, if somebody else were to do it, voids his warranty on the car." So it's like they set you up for that bullshit because, dude, I ignore every fucking thing that comes up as far as the dealership. Oh, you got to, fuck that. No, I don't. I got to go to YouTube. I got to do some research and take some patience and figure this shit out. All this shit now that they're moving towards in terms of fixing in the future is all digital. It's going to be all computerized, so you can't take a wrench to it.
Shit that you gotta,
it's like you can't take a wrench to it, and you can't go and figure this shit out. Change a belt, put some oil in it. None of that shit.
Yeah, because I heard something. I forgot what car manufacturer it was where they were talking about how they put the alternator inside the engine now. So if you have to typically change your alternator or your starter, you have to go to a dealership and they got a fucking 11-hour process of taking your car apart, charge your arm and a leg. Like they don't want you to fix on cars and shit anymore. That's what
you was doing.
So
I do when you first tried to get up.
that's just because me, and I drove over to your house and I said my battery, the light was on. I had to change that damn alternator belt. Shit, yeah, man, I was like. As they said, I went straight to fucking YouTube and just got me a 17 millimeter socket. Crank that shit back. You know.
Oh, that's different.
But yeah, they but switch gears a little bit because, like I'm saying,
Oh yeah.
I want to talk
Wow.
a bit more about like some thought provoking shit. I done wrote some questions down.
Yeah, I got one more, so it's gonna be a good one.
Well, go ahead. What's your last?
So there was a post online that I saw that sparked a lot of conversation. In which this guy, I guess he was a baby daddy, baby mama, but the baby mama asked this guy for money for school supplies to go. You saw that?
I did not.
School supplies, and I believe he sent $750. I'm not sure if they were all his kids or 2 or 1, but I believe
it was for 3 kids.
It was three kids, and of course, a flood of comments coming in talking about that's not enough money. This costs this amount, clothes, all this other BS bullshit. And I made one comment. I'm like, dude, like school supplies is not clothes because typically you're supposed to give your kids clothes anyway.
It depends on.
Yeah, but then
if they go to a school that require a uniform.
If your crew required a uniform, typically my son, he requires a uniform. Yeah, my kid, I buy him about 5 pairs of pants, 5 pairs of shirts. Is it expensive? Yeah. Because some of that shit can be cheap, especially when the school tells you, go to this website and buy these type of clothes, or buy this blue pants, or buy this shirt.
They got, on my kid's school, orientation, they got the damn, they got all the shirts and shit hanging up right up in the school. So all the school shirts and shit.
School supplies, this is like, do you think, I guess it's kind of like a multiple part question. Do you think, from you guys' perspective, do you think school supplies are obsessive because some of the schools are not getting funding? Because half the time, I know when I walk in there and I'll be like, okay, I'll be like, hey, where's the paper towels I brought? Where's the extra crayons and shit? It's not necessarily all getting used, but I find out it gets spread out throughout the entire school. Like, so you're buying through, at least from what I found out, it's not just tied. Or at least that's what they tell parents. It's not just tied to one classroom.
To your student.
It's tied to the entire school, whatever that grade, from whatever 2nd grade to 4th grade, 5th grade, or whatever.
That was on the episode of Abbott Elementary. I don't know if y'all watched that.
Yeah, I watched it most.
But it's so true to real life, like you said. It's so true to real life. You be like, that's fucked.
So, but based upon you gu's experience, if you have to buy school supplies, like, do you think $750? Yeah, you always trying to show.
Supposed to mean?
Your kid was in school a long time ago.
The fuck that's supposed like it wasn't expensive then.
Probably what is expensive now.
Shit, you damn right. It wasn't expensive.
One kid.
And you know what the fuck?
I had 3 of them.
Yeah, and trust me, I cry for you. Claim like you don't cry. I be going to bed at night like, I'm so thankful Angie is out of motherfucking school and I got to pay. But you know what? Corley got 3 kids and he got to pay. But it was a paper that came out back in 2007. I was reading an article where it said that at that time, in 2007, this was going on 20 years ago, at that time, to raise a kid from birth to the age of 18 years old,
it $2 million?
No, it came out to 250,000. So it was $250,000 then. It's probably like $2 million now. But if you were to take care of your child, giving them housing, clothes, food, the needs that you would, on the basic end, from the age of birth to 18, a child would have cost you $250,000. And that was 2007. So that was 20 years ago. I can only imagine what this, like you said, it's probably $2 million now. Shit, that is fucking nuts.
Oh. Were you were you that type of person that will like let your kids like bully you into say, I gotta have a new outfit, I gotta have a new pair of shoes, I gotta have a new book bag. I cannot go in there.
Shit that I had on and she was a girl. I'd be like, nigga, this is a fit.
I cannot go in there with last year's book bag. I cannot go in there with anything I wore last year. They're gonna clown me. Everybody gonna have new outfits.
It's not.
But do you think it becomes the same thing with prom? Do you think it becomes the money grab? Because you see how these stores advertise back to school clothes, back to school book bag, socks, this. They have a whole aisle for it, which they should, but they advertise it in a way. And then your kids walk in there, then they see it, then they be like, man, Johnny just said he just got the new fucking FUBU or whatever the hell they bought back then, and he got a Louis Vuitton bag. I need a Louis Vuitton. I need to go in there and stun on these hoes. Like,
well, you asked like three to four different questions all
I'm
at
just
once.
saying.
So I'm like trying to get one answer the first one.
I stuck on my problem, which I was broke, so I ain't had no shit like that. So fuck all you.
Yeah, just the answer. Like,
I was smart though, goddamn it, because I ain't had shit else to focus on.
I can only speak for myself. My wife is a little bit different, but it's just like the kids are not gonna tell me what they, need versus wants.
Hold on, let me take a trip down memory lane and remember Cortland in grade school years.
We're not talking about me in grade school. I'm talking about my kids.
I'm talking.
I was the only kid in the house, so it's a little different between being the only kid in the house and 3 kids all in the house at the same time.
Well, I mean that whole I'm gonna get what I want. I can't go to school busted shit, nigga, because
man,
I don't think I was ever the kind of kid that was like, I need this, I gotta have this. I was just like, hey, this is, I want this. And if she said, my mom said, yeah, then she said, yeah. If she said no, it was a no. But it wasn't like, oh, I can't go to school without X, Y, and Z, or I can't.
I'm going to drink this delicious old fashioned that you made. And I'm going to ponder what you just said in case I come up with some bullshit.
Because I'm like, even at that age, it was like, it was still residual holdover from when my pops was alive. And I knew that it wouldn't slide then. So I'm like, it was like, I was never in that mindset of being a person who knew that anything I asked for, I'm going to get. It was just like, I can ask for it. I knew I could ask for it. And it was just like, hey, it was a 50-50. It was a flip of the coin. Either she say yes or she say no. But it was like, if she say no, it was like, yeah, as a kid, you get a little attitude or whatever for a couple of days. But it's just like, shit, and you can't do nothing about it.
Shit. but these kids nowadays, go ahead, I'm sorry.
But now my kids are about, of that same ilk. It's just like, hey, you gotta ask for what you want, but it's like, just because you ask for it, that don't mean you're gonna get it. And it's like, you're gonna have everything that you need, and it's like, that you're gonna get what you need. But that don't mean that you about to be in here with every single thing.
I was just telling Bear, I was like, Cortland got to be one of the most old school dads I have ever met. My motherfucker, I don't even go that far back. This dude 1960s.
I got a teenager that every party she go to, she needs a new outfit. She can't go to no new party without anything she wore previously or somebody seen online. It got to be something.
She damn near grown. So that's different.
She still asks.
She said what?
You ain't grown if you got to ask other people to buy your shit.
She still asks. Yeah.
Oh yeah, still.
No, but I'm saying at this point she's still grown. So it's like, yo, go get a job. You buy that shit yourself.
You do. I'll be like,
look,
man,
my kids get a job. It's like, oh, this little shit that you asking
this
for.
Bill.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I did.
Like
this is what electric bill looks like. No, because to be honest with you, that bill's like in terms of future, like, and I'm be honest, that was probably one of the helpful things that I did with, and it's like sit down and be like, hey, this is the shit that we go through while your ass living it up and like living carefree, thinking life is bullshit. Nigga, this is what we go through. And we showed her all the shit that we had to pay. We showed her how much we made and how we had to budget, what had to pay out. And at the end of it, she even sat there like, oh, y'all, nigga, y'all need to step up y'all game because this is some bullshit.
No, it's definitely going to be that
insight of like what you have to look forward to in terms of being responsible.
Yeah, most definitely it'd be that. But it's like, sometimes I see people go to the extreme with it. And just like the moment they turn 18, it's like, oh, you got to get out.
Oh, yeah.
Or start paying half of the rent and shit, and wild shit like that, paying half of the bill. Just like, man, look, if you turn 18, you decide to go to college, okay, cool. But if you turn 18 and you decide not to go to college, then it's just like, all right, what you gonna do? It's like you're gonna have to figure out, start figuring out what your plans are and start making strides to complete them plans. Luckily, our kids go to schools where they don't have to wait until they turn 18. It's like the daughter, she gonna be a junior this year. So it's like she's able to start taking like prereq classes for she wants to go into nursing at the moment. So it's like she can, when this school year starts, she can start taking classes that will, make it easier for her when she, graduates. Then she has less to do before she's able to get her certificate to start, like CNAs
So
and then work into it.
is that like a trade? Would that be considered like under a trade or like being geared towards something that's going towards it?
Well, it depends on who you ask. I mean, I don't know if I don't know if I would consider it a trade, but it's still, they can take classes where they get college credits for it.
Yeah.
So it's they can start.
That's cool.
They can start now, so that by the time they do turn 18, it's like they probably only got another year and a half to of actual schooling before they can start doing what they really want to do.
Yeah, that's
and
smart.
I'm going to do the same. With the boy when he gets into high school, and it's like, look, start looking at these trades, because a lot of people don't see the trades people really don't usually do all the glitz and glam stuff, because they're still blue collar people, but the motherfuckers are making 6 figures.
It's
And
not
it's
only
like-
that, it's like they may not see it in terms of like, they don't see the glitz and glamour, but they do when they own the company.
Yeah,
So if
that's
you
what I'm
own the
saying.
company of a motherfuckers that's not doing the glitz and glamour, trust me, nigga, you live in the glitz and glamour.
And I'm they be making even into the millions. It's just like, dude, you
easy.
Imagine you go into high school and you can get into a program where you can come out with, when you graduate, you can come out with a welder certificate. And it's like, dude,
welders get paid.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
Yes,
Like,
they
you
do.
come out with a welder certificate or a masonry, certificate, or a painter or a bricklayer or a carpentry or, any of that shit, even mechanics. It's like, dude, you could do this now, so that by the time you turn 18 and you graduate, you can go straight into doing what it is that to making some money. And it's just like, because that journeyman shit is like, you already got to wait 5 years before you start, become like able to just be out on your own and start your own, company and stuff. So it's like, hell, 5 years after high school, and you can start your own company. You got 5 years worth of experience,
Looking back
work
on
experience.
it, that's nothing now. But back then, you'd have told a kid 5 years, they'd have been like, nigga, I'll be old as shit by the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just the mentality. It's like,
but it's also on the parents to make sure that they understand, hey, 5 years ain't shit.
right.
It's like you turn 18, you got another 60 something years
Shit, I
left.
can't remember the
At
last
least
7 years. I done spent
Well,
That
that.
ain't
you know,
including
these-
the technology. But to answer your question, as far as school supplies for 3 kids, $750 in 2026, I don't think that is going to cover everything.
What? Wait,
I think so. Yeah, 100%. I think it would. Book bag at the most $50, unless you're buying something.
oh man,
glamorous.
yeah, I want
So
to hear this
glamorous.
price breakdown
I'm
because shit
just-
changed. Because
so
I used
think
to
about
steal
it.
shit too.
I,
so
I would say everything.
Walmart?
I would say everything school supplies.
For the year, or just to go back to
No,
school?
no. I mean, when you bring your kid to the school, they go to a new grade or you enroll or whatever the case may be, that teacher gives you that list of school supplies that your kid needs to come to school with.
Starting off.
Whether
Okay.
if that blue folder, red folder, yellow folder, and
Well,
pen,
yeah, that's different. Because I'm saying,
because that's for school. That's what I assume
'cause
school
when
supplies is. Yeah.
but so when I'm thinking of school supplies, it's more than just the paper and pencils and
Mhm.
stuff like that. You got to think, like, the kids probably grew out of the shoes that they had last year, the school shoes that they had last year.
No, but I
They
mean,
probably
like
grew out.
you. Well, yeah,
But
yeah.
all of that stuff has to be included, because that's stuff that they're going to need in order to go to school. Because it's like, unless you sending your kids to school, and we kids, they got school shoes. It's like, hey, you play in these shoes, you go nice place with these shoes, and these are your school shoes.
Well, so you would
And
let them
no comment.
So, but no, but I'm saying it's like they're gonna need some shoes for the school year to, that's what.
But I would assume besides the uniform, the
But
clothes.
you can't separate that, because that's all stuff that is included in things that they're gonna need for the school year.
Yes, but
If you're gonna only talk about pencil, paper, and
no.
things of that
I mean,
nature, then
because
hell yeah,
because I know some people online are going to cherry pick what how they view school supplies. I would assume, based upon me answering the question, I would assume, yeah, they're gonna need, unless they got a uniform that's separate. you're going to buy them clothes automatically. Because some people assume that you need a new pair of shoes for the new school year. You're going to buy them clothes automatically. They're going to have school because they're going to be asking you months in advance, hey, I need some new clothes before the new school year. But the notion of that conversation is school supplies. People are taking school supplies and creating their own narrative around what they think school supplies is. Because kids, but
it could be a subjective thing.
Yeah,
but it possibly is not a completely objective thing of this is what school supplies is and nothing else is included. It could be subjective. It was like, hey, I consider this to be a part of school supply, and I'm just saying from my own household is like when we do go school shopping, clothes are included in that.
Yeah. Cool.
So when we go school shopping, I think the first thing that they do is, make sure, after we get the list or, everything that they need for the year, we knock all of that shit out. That's a Family Dollar and Dollar Tree. So we knock all of that shit out.
How old are we talking? 16?
I got from 16 to 9. So it's just like all of that stuff is included.
Yeah.
But after we get those, paper materials and things for actual inside the school, then after that, we have to get them shoes for the year. We got 3 pairs of shoes for the year. Then we got to get the 2 youngest. They have uniform, so it's like they're gonna need some plain pants. They got to have at least like 2 or 3 pair because they're gonna
cardboard ass blue pants.
They're gonna burn through them pants.
Yeah,
especially
I don't want to get it. I don't want to get it confused.
But no, I'm hear me out. Because I'm telling you what I include in my school supply, because this is all. Yeah. These are all, expenses that incur because of the upcoming school year. So we have to get them pants that are going to be able, they're going to be able to fit for the year. And then we're going to have to assume that when they go out and recess and shit, they're going to burn some holes through them the first couple pairs before winter break. So we got to get them at least 4 pair of pants, for the year.
For the year.
And then we got to get them some, their school issued shirts. So that's at least, 2 or 3, shirts for both of the two younger ones. And them shirts is like it's a charter school, so it's like they can pretty much charge whatever the hell they want to. So I think those are like, I want to say they're 25. I think they're $25.
Holy shit, per shirt?
Yeah. I think they're $25 per shirt. So that's 4 shirts. We got 8 pair of pants. Then we got to get them a pair of shoes.
Oh,
and
damn.
then wintertime is coming up.
I see why you rebudget shit. That's different.
Wintertime is coming up right after school starts. So eventually we're going to have to buy them some boots because they probably can't fit the boots from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got to get, depending on what size coat we got last year, we probably going to have to buy them a coat for the wintertime. And then we got to, all this. Yeah. So it's like
your definition of school supplies take on a whole different language.
Yeah. And that's
my school supplies. I need some paper. I need some pencil.
Yeah. And for you, it's like whatever hand-me-down clothes still can possibly.
First of all, hey, don't try to rock on my shit like it was all hand-me-down. The majority of it was. We being real. I'm just saying. I'm like, shit was high. It was high.
Yeah. So
I'm saying it was some hand-me-down shit, but
I feel like that's, as from a parent standpoint, that's a luxury. That you can just be like, hey, we better let them pay with your brother's pants.
Yeah,
we can't do that now.
I'm sitting there looking at my mom like, oh, she played that shit slick as hell. Because I'd have been like, hey, nigga, you gonna wear that nigga pants? You gonna wear that nigga pants? You gonna wear that?
If we had
effect like a motherfucker.
If we had boys all in the age range, I probably would try to pull it off too. My wife probably wouldn't let me, but I'll try it.
Yeah, no, hey, trust me.
These gonna be your play pants.
Yeah, the prices you naming, you be a millionaire. You would have saved $1 million.
So it's like,
it's
all of that shit. That depends on what the person considers school supplies. For me and my household, all of that shit it's an expense that is incurred because of the upcoming school year. So that's gonna raise that price. So for 3 kids, you know what? $750 might be able to do it.
Just to cover the paper and pencil.
I was saying
for everything. That's assuming that. That's assuming that nothing else comes up.
I was saying $750 for 3 kids wouldn't be enough. I would say
Oh,
it would.
really?
No, because
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, it might.
Yeah,
be,
I don't want to
but
give
I
that.
don't think so.
And again, I'm falling under his, well, not his definition, but your definition of school supplies being like the pencil, the paper, the pens,
Well,
the notebooks.
because I would assume I'll be like, okay, well, if they all the same age and they get a new book bag, because every school year I buy him a new book bag because, as you said, he tore the shit up. He got holes in it, it's ripped. But I would separate the clothes. I wouldn't say clothes. The new clothes are school supplies. I would just say he need new clothes. I wouldn't just say, oh, he need the new Jordan. He didn't need new shoes. I wouldn't say he need school supplies. I would just say, I gotta buy that shit, anyway, because he's growing, he's getting bigger, he's getting taller, he's going through this shit, But I just separate it. I wouldn't include it in the to say that it's school supplies. I would just be like, yeah, he's gonna have new clothes because he's just gonna get new clothes regardless of the situation. But he going into the.
But I mean, like I said, these are clothes that's for school. These are not, like I said, these aren't clothes that they're going to be wearing outside though. Like I said, I have to buy them the school shirts from the school, and then they have to wear plain dark pants.
Oh yeah, that does.
So
yeah.
like those clothing are going to be directly for school because it's like, hey,
yeah, my son went.
Otherwise, you'll be wearing something else.
School clothes, and that should be.
I'm just laughing to myself on how motherfucking swole kids was back in my days because we actually had to carry books instead of having book bags.
Yeah, half the time now I forgot
back muscles.
I forgot the website. Oh, I should have booked.
But I mean, I don't know all of that stuff. If you're gonna be real honest, they do it's so many school book, back to school drives and stuff. It's like, I think last year we hit up like 3 of them motherfuckers. So like the kids,
some
they
of
not
them
gonna
are
need
good.
new book bags this year.
Yeah.
Like
I did a couple of programs with the schools, but I thought this shit was awesome.
They run through them pencils like a motherfucker though.
They be like, "Mommy, I don't like this book bag. It's free."
Yeah, nah, you gonna use that book bag.
Oh yeah, you gonna use a book. I don't give a fuck. I got book bags now that don't even apply to me. Shit. I'm like, I got this book bag. I use A's book bag. It's covered with like little buttons and shit.
Mm. But as far as that post that you were talking about, I feel like that's just some old baby daddy drama shit that no matter what the man do is gonna be an issue and vice versa.
Oh, and for the record, before you get into your psychological shit, you black people are screwed. In 10 years now, black people are going to be the new... I bullshit you not. Mark this day. In 10 years, black people are going to be the new Native Americans. Meaning that you motherfuckers will not be looked at in any certain way in terms of like any type of threat. All your complaints are going to be like shuttled off into the corner where nobody hears them. And nigga, basically you'll be forgotten about. But that's a prediction based off of current events. And
I mean, people, they really don't care about what black people complain about now. So.
Oh, no, it's really ramping up. They keep the motherfuckers on TV for now. They'll show a black motherfucker on TV. But in 10 years, trust me, there will be no black motherfuckers on TV. You niggas will be erased like motherfucking tears in the rain. You will be non-existent.
Well, we shall see. So real quick.
Want to put some money on it? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Real quick.
You owe me $20.
This is like something I was thinking about. So was there ever a time where you had like a strong opinion about something and then you got some new information about it and it actually changed your mind?
Oh.
To where is that, at now you like, why the hell did I think like that? And it's like, I'll give an example. So for the longest time, I felt like people who got a PhD and just walking around calling themselves Dr. X, Y, and Z, I felt like it was really pretentious.
Like that Bryant chick?
No, people who actually earned a PhD and went to school and
graduated
actually went to school with a doctoral degree, did a dissertation and all that stuff. But just people who just had a PhD and calling themselves doctor, I felt like you're being pretentious. You're not a doctor because doctors are people who work in hospitals and X, Y, and Z. This is how I felt, and I was just like, whatever, you Dr. X, whatever, dude. Like, you're not a doctor. You're just doing this just, so you can flex the fact that you went to school for 8 years and, did it for 12 years or whatever. And until I found out where the word doctor comes from. And it was like, it's an old English word. And, it always comes back from Latin because that's just the root of our English language. but it was like it came from the word doctore, which means to teach. So it was like, and it was a title given to a person who has become good enough at a certain skill that they were able to teach other people. It's just like you're so good at this and you understand it well enough that you are able to teach it to other people. Because it's like you can be good at something, but not be able to, break it down to the point where you could teach it to another person. You can just be like, oh, I'm good at this. You can watch me, but I don't know how to explain to you how I do it. I just do it. And there's a different level of mastery involved in being able to teach, another person how to do something, especially to get them to the point to be as good as you are. So that's what, that word comes from. And then that is why, doctorates are becoming, are called doctors, because they are proficient at their field of study enough, especially when they do their dissertation and they have to defend it against a group of people who want to find holes and all that other stuff in your dissertation. It's like this person is educated and proficient in this field enough to where it's that if you wanted to, you could go teach it to other people. And then once I learned that, it was like it just completely changed, my my view on, just people having PhDs and calling themselves doctors. So that was just my example of something, like just getting a piece of information that completely changed my mind about something. Because I was like, it was a pretty strong opinion. It wasn't something I just went around just talking about all the time, but it was like anytime I saw somebody refer to themselves as a doctor and they weren't a medical doctor, it was just like, okay, whatever, fuck out of here.
So now you're saying that now that you know that the doctor means that they're teachable, or the people are able to teach, then now you're saying that.
Yeah, I just don't have that view anymore. I don't look at people that way anymore.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's changed my viewpoint, and it's like I don't feel a type of way about it. It's like I'll call them out of respect. It's just like calling somebody Mr. or Mrs. or Sir or Ma'am or whatever like that.
So it's the crux of your question is, has anybody presented information to you that changed your mind about something that
something that you felt, something that you felt, pretty strong about, or
you've done it several times. You've done it several times. It seems like now the roles are reversed. I'll be honest, in terms of getting older, and I just find it funny now. It's nothing to take personal or bad. It's just that as I get older, I realize is that you go through your life arguing about things that you think are important, number one, and then you want to be right, or you want to be right. It's like nothing that comes out of your mouth that you ever say is that you want to be on the wrong end of it. So you come out thinking in your mind is that I'm going to say what I have to say about this and I'm going to be right about it. As I'm finding out as I get older, me personally, and there's others that get older that I hear from too, is that that's not the point about being right or anything. The ability of having somebody to change your mind or opinion on something is actually showing more signs of intelligence, because now that you've reached a certain age or you reached a certain point to allow and humble yourself to take in information, it seems to be that's much better. So now it's like, now I don't even go around trying to say that I know shit, because everybody teaches me shit. Angie teach me, kids teach me shit, y'all teach me shit. And it's just that you got to keep your frequencies open in terms of like what it is that you're trying to, I guess, intake in terms of knowledge, and what you're willing to humble yourself in to admit to.
You got an example of like one that I gave of something that you can think
well,
of?
I can. Your sister, she does it off the back, but the most main life-changing aspect for me is because we're two separate, and she actually told me this as yesterday when y'all were talking about Zodiac signs. But my thought process behind Zodiac signs was the fact that I'm an Aries and I'm hot-headed naturally. And even though it's like you may not believe in it, and I understand why, but it's just that there's a characteristic that I identify with because that's one of my characteristics. Your sister is a Libra. She's the exact opposite in every definition according to the Zodiac, and even in personality as I am. But what I thought as before as being the aggressor or being high-headed. And shit, in my 20s, y'all wouldn't have hung out with me. I guarantee it. But it was just that mind that everything went from 0 to 100 in a split second. What I've learned in life that saved me, that your sister taught me, was even though it's like she didn't have the experience to any of that. It's just like, hey, calm down, look at it from a different perspective all the time and quit thinking that you're right all the time, because it's like you're seeing through, like you said earlier, through my lens. I'm just seeing things through how I see it. Mm. And if I were to take something or a situation that was serious enough that would lead me into a place where, my ass cashed the check that, my mouth wrote, if it led me to that, then I would be in a bad situation. And that's where I was. I'm beyond, that's where I was. Prior to all this bullshit, that's where I was. And I was like, over time that I learned, it's like, no, I got to sit here and listen and take people's perspective in account, because mine is something completely different. And believe it or not, that is life changing. And it can be described as simple as motherfuckers that went to Popeyes and got into a fight with the motherfucking cashier at the Popeyes, and all of a sudden somebody shot. That's because you couldn't control your emotions. You weren't willing to listen. You weren't willing to process somebody other's perspective and either make a decision to sit there and continue to argue or to walk away. I was like, and that was one of my biggest hangups that fucked me up in life. But your sister taught me that. And I was able to stop and actually think and look at perspective. And it really changed it has changed my entire life. Because now no longer do I look at the things that I say as serious as it has to be defended or I have to be right. 99% of the shit that I say that comes out of my mouth on a daily basis is bullshit. It doesn't apply to anybody else. It's not going to change the outcome of the world. It's not going to do any of that shit. So by knowing that now, it's like, I'm just sitting here and spitting bullshit. I'm not going to affect anybody else with that. It's like now I've learned to, take other people's perspective into considerations, which is why I tell y'all, like, hey, don't take shit that I say personal. I'm just bullshit because I'm thinking in my head it's a joke. Mm-hmm. Your perspective may not take it as a joke. So, and that'll be the disconnect. But again, it's like that was one of the most important lessons that I've learned, I want to say, in life, out of all the shit that I've been taught, that really like saved my life. I was like, you couldn't cut me off back in the day in the street, nigga. If we was driving, I'd shot out your windows. Easy. Or I'd have followed you. This is no lie. I'd have followed you and I'd roll with people. Like, nigga, if you got cut off in the street or one of those just straight ignorant niggas, we got time today. Nigga, I had straight 2 hours to waste. I'm going to follow you to wherever you go. By the time you get out to that car and go wherever you have to go, by the time you come back, it's a wreck. Your tires are flat, windows are busted. If I wasn't riding with my boy C, I was like, you'd be surprised that motherfucking car wasn't on fire. Legit. That's from the taking it to extreme shit to being like, hey, that shit'll get you killed. Like, you need to calm your ass down.
Well, that's great that my sister was able to turn you from the people that you talk shit about all the time now.
Yeah, and that's why I'm able to talk shit about them, because I've been there. I know what the change can be. Oh, man. So it's like, I'm not taking it out of or saying anything reckless out of bullshit. It's like, no, I've been there. It's like people can make change and make change for the better. I would like to think this was one of them.
So what about you, D? Has there ever been an opinion or a thought process that you held, that you felt pretty strongly about, and then you got some information and it completely changed?
I would say learning from my kids, because them growing up, I would assume you try to teach them the right way. And if they deviate from what I'm trying to teach them, I will see it as being labeled as wrong because of how I perceive things. And then they will try to say, well, based on our perspective, we're doing things this way. It works this way. It doesn't have to necessarily be this way. But I also go back to when I used to get into fights with some of the kids from Kenwood, and I begun to do jujitsu training, and my teacher would always tell me, like, you're not learning this just to go out there, just to antagonize and beat up people, because clearly you came here for that reason, to defend yourself, but I see the hostility in you to where you want to go out there and immediately flip a motherfucker over, but that's not going to lead you anywhere. Like you came here to learn self-discipline, and it changed my perspective of at least how I was, as you said, like you couldn't fuck with me then. Like back then when I was doing that training and going to these grappling tournaments, I was waiting for a motherfucker outside to try my ass. I was coming out. Jiu-jitsu, you can throw a punch. I'm going to have your ass on the floor in a chokehold. And it kind of just changed my perspective.
And tap outs don't count in the street.
Man.
Tapping the ground all you want to.
Well, man, that's them days I was a different person. But no, I think it mainly, a lot of the things you say, like even now my fiance, she be telling me certain things and you view it from your perspective, but then you think your way is right, but then it doesn't necessarily. How I do things doesn't fit for that person. But then something that I believed in, I don't know. I think I'm the kind of person that I would try to go gather some facts first. But then, I probably wouldn't even have an answer for that right now. Like I'm not even going to just try to bullshit and spit out something. Like you just.
So then that leads into my next thinking question is like, so what would it take? Like when you are presented with with new information, how do you discern whether or not you want to take that information as fact and allow it to impact how you look at whatever the subject matter is, or as something that could be either false or or completely opinion based?
I
think
it's like you gotta put some hair on your chest and say if you gotta apologize because you choose somebody out for something you strongly believe what was right, but then the fact came out and said you're wrong. You gotta know when to apologize. And men don't like that shit. Some men do like, it is what it is. Like, or I'm not trying to win the argument, or this was never a battle in the first place. Like we were just having a conversation. Like, no, some people will come to you with an issue in which they strongly feel about, and which you strongly feel about, but you're telling this person they are wrong about it, and then they get upset about it. And whether if they're in their feelings or you are in your feelings, but then every once in a while you are going to come face with that slap in the face, like, hey, this new information came out, you are wrong. Can I get a response on that? Will you apologize? Or would you agree when we had that argument, I was right because I felt like I was right, and would somebody say, hey, I was more into my feelings, I'm just got mad? Or especially when you bring a topic to someone and they immediately get mad or defensive in that topic. But then, you just got to accept it. Some people don't. Some people just try to go another left turn or right to say, well, you're only right because of this and blah, blah, blah. At that time, I felt it was the truth. And what I was presenting to the argument or the issue, it was right. Mm-hmm. At that time, it was true. Now this information changed my truth.
So I was thinking more along the lines of, I'll use, for example, what you said earlier with the Zodiac signs. I was talking to my sister about, they believe in the Zodiac signs and how they, can describe a person. And I was saying, so from a logical standpoint in my head, I think the Zodiac sign stuff is kind of nonsense. Not from a judgmental perspective, but just from more of it doesn't make logical sense. It's almost kind of, sort of like, I look at it in a similar way as almost like religion a little bit. So I'm looking at it as, I don't believe that just because you were born at a certain time of year, happen to be facing certain constellations millions and trillions of light years away, that can have an effect on how your personality turns out in the rest of your life. And then I use the example of because everything in the universe, it does have a gravitational pull and effect on everything else in the universe. It's just depending on how close and how far away you are is how much you can feel that effect. It's like, just because we are here is like the planet is still being affected by the gravitational pull of Pluto. It's just not as strong as the gravitational pull of the sun. So I was saying, so it's just like if you have a candle in the middle of the room and you have your hand here, it's like you can feel the heat from that candle. But if you have, another candle over here, you're not going to feel the heat from that candle, even though it is radiating heat. You're not going to detect the difference. Only thing you could feel is this. So moving from here to here is like that distance is negligible when you look at how far, going back to, the solar systems and the different galaxies that make up these constellations. It's like those constellations and planets and stars that you are seeing are so far away that just moving to the other side of the planet, of the sun, whereas you can't see that constellation and you see a different constellation, the effect and the change that has on the planet Earth is so negligible that it can't, from a logical standpoint, it's like that has no effect on what goes on here because it's so far away. So that was my basis of saying like, hey, just because you're in view of this, this constellation, I don't think that really dictates, having, X personality, the personality of a Taurus or an Aries or a Gemini or any of that, for that matter. And it's like, but as human beings, we are engineered, genetically and evolutionarily to notice patterns. So it's like, hey, if you see that this person was born at this, certain time period and they have these traits, this person was also born at this, certain time period and they, may have those traits as well. And it's like, hey, that must be a reason why these two people are born a couple days apart and they, behave similarly. And it's just like, that's, what my aspect of it was. But it's like, hey, you can take these traits and you can apply them to anybody. And it's just like, you look at the Zodiac signs and the horoscopes and stuff. And it's just like those stuff that they read when they read these and they put these little, descriptions and stuff. And it's like, dude, you can apply that to anybody and you can take any of these descriptions. You can say, oh, I can see how I fit into that. Or I can see how I fit into that. Right. It's just a matter of, of perspective and human beings just we just have this need, this genetic, biological need to make sense of things. It is like we refuse to believe on a deep level that, shit is just fucking random. And it's just like everything has a meaning. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it does. And it's just like,
but them horoscope. I never believed in the horoscope.
Yeah, but some people do. And some people make it their whole fucking existence. It's like they refuse to date.
Cleo.
Like what's the one with the lady be reading those? I forgot what they call.
Oh, me now, Miss Cleo.
Yeah, no, not
me tell you what your future be.
Your horoscope or whatever that thing is called.
Money.
And it's the sun was set in Aries and whatever those people that I forget.
Yeah, they have, but it's all so many. They got the sun, you got your zodiac sign, the sun, you got the moon sign. It's like everybody.
You got a Chinese
got like 4 different zodiac signs. And shit.
But then there's a market behind it to where you can make money. You go to these markets and they say, "Hey, are you an Aries? You're a Leo. Take the gem. It's $20. It'll bring you good luck." Like.
So now here's to wrap up on it, like what you just said in terms of what your beliefs, and I'll finish that after I explain this. But in my retort to what would be in terms of horoscope and zodiac signs is that in terms of like the universe, like you said, we are all cosmic dust. We all come from cosmic dust. The fact that we are here right now talking on microphones in front of cameras, being able to record is just some amazing roll of the dice shit by itself, right? Because we are all linked to the universe through our DNA, through our skin, through everything. It's like, this is what we are made of, literally, is from the dust and the some shit that happened way back in the day, whatever collision or whatever Big Bang theory it is, it caused it, but it caused us to be here. Therefore, we are related to it in some shape, form, or fashion. True or false?
It depends on what your definition of related to is.
Meaning that we are related to the cosmic of the universe.
If you like the atoms that make up,
Yeah,
and the
everything that we
molecules
are
and
made
stuff
up
is
of,
like, yeah.
it's like that is uncontested that we are made of the same shit that stars in the universe is made of
Right.
when it boils down to the little micro. Okay, take that into consideration. And this is how I see it. Again, this is my perspective in terms of like the zodiac sign. So if you were to take a couple, say that they were about to produce a baby, say it's winter time, during the colder month, that they are huddled together because you ain't about to go out in the snow and you got some booty. So you like, oh shit, I'm staying in here with this. And you procreate in the wintertime, creating some booty. That baby will be born about what, September, August, September, sometime in that time frame.
Mm.
Now, would it be after we looked into epigenetics? That's one thing that you can chalk on your. Even though I didn't know anything about epigenetics until you brought it to my attention, but that changed my whole outlook on a lot of shit. Because when finding that out, I was like, "Holy shit! You mean that motherfucking energy, which again, part of the universe, which we're made of, energy can be transformed, can be concealed into an egg and then be produced, because that's what it is essentially. It's like if you're stressed out like a motherfucker during that time of birth or during that time of
During
conception,
pregnancy, yeah.
right? So is it true that that stress will now be compounded on that egg, so on and so forth, until that fetus is born? Is that epigenetics and
I mean,
kind
that's
of a
what
sense?
the theory of it is so far.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a theory, but I mean, when looking at it, it's like it's a reasonable theory
Mhm.
based on what it was conceptualized on and what it was able to produce. So, taking that same information, if a couple is in love and they are just full of love and they so happy that they on a winter vacation, they can be out wherever it is, and they procreate and they produce a baby. That baby is going to absorb all that energy which it had doing those two people, and then given that time is born, which is in August, which would make them what, like a Virgo or something. It would put them in that atmosphere. Now things change from winter, from where the planet is set, from where our moons are set. There's different barometers. There's different temperatures. There's a whole lot of different variables that play into different sets that would cause a different reaction from a person conceiving and then having a baby. So if you were to have a baby in the summertime, well, there's different pressures and different variables that play in the part of having that baby. They said if you have a baby in water or you keep a pregnant woman around water, that releases stress on the baby. I kept Jackie in the swimming pool. I kept her in jacuzzi. Angie was one of the goofiest babies I've ever seen in my life. Did that have something to do with it? It's possible. We kept her happy. I followed all the rules to keeping her happy. But out of all that, her sign of being a Capricorn, been when she was born, it's like it follows all of her traits. So am I to say that I can just dismiss this because of it's, everybody goes through this, or can I identify with other Capricorns that I see the same traits in Angie, and I'm sitting there looking at other people like, damn, it gave her everything. Angie wasn't a grouchy baby. She wasn't abused or anything like this. She wasn't tortured. I didn't beat Angie. We didn't get on her case really. She turned out to be very smart, but she has some traits that are just like, where the fuck did you get that from? Now, could those traits be from variables that are out of our control and out of our existence? Like we are in existence today. It's like it's more than possible because there's some shit that we can't explain. And when I look at the people that I associate with and those are a lot of times people that are not within my own, what I consider zodiac. It's like because I just can't stand them. Then I go look up the reason why I can't stand them. It's like, because these two people don't get along. That's interesting.
So, but my only theory, well, not necessarily theory, but rebuttal for that is just, I feel like it's more of a, and this is what I said to Jackie as well. I was like, I feel like that's more environmental and experiential. And it's like your personality develops from a reaction to your environment. And it's like if you grow up in a certain environment where that you don't have to be, stressed out, you don't have to be violent, you don't have to be, on guard all the time. You're gonna come out to be most of the time, with the exception of, brain chemistry and all that other stuff. majority of the time, if you grow up in a pretty relaxed environment, then that's gonna be the the personality that you develop from that, because it's experiential. It's just like, like you said, you ain't beat her up or torture and none of that stuff. So it's like she had no reason.
Choke her ass out a couple of times. Like, you little motherfucker.
It's like she had no reason to, come out with an aggressive or strong personality,
Right.
and also mirroring the personalities that she sees. So it's just like your traits rub off on other people. And it's like they pick up certain traits and don't pick up other traits. And it's like, I feel like that at that point, it's a roll of a dice.
So what I said at the end of that conversation was, because we were talking about you, and I was like, I refused it, even though they told you crap. But anyway, I was like,
I'm really?
Yeah, they
real quick.
Oh no, not now. I ain't gonna
Did
say,
I cry?
No.
Did I cry
This
during
ain't
the
the time
speech?
for that. This ain't the time for that. Let me just finish. What I got to say,
crazy.
because they got it on video. But what I was going to say is like, at the end of the day, regardless of what
I'm throwing the
you
chip
is,
in.
That's crazy.
regardless of what it is your perspective on and what our perspective is, it's like it really doesn't matter.
Mhm.
I was like, it's not a life or death situation of what
Right.
it is that you believe or what it is that we believe. And it's not like we gonna come at you like, this motherfucker don't believe in Zodiac. So you
Right.
full of shit. It's like, no, it's like that's not gonna happen, because I respect your beliefs and your understanding of it, and I'm sure you respect ours.
Mhm.
And it's just like, all right, well, no harm, no foul. Let's move on to the next one.
So,
And-
but
and
my whole reason for bringing that conversation is because at the end of it, I was like, so when I say, my perspective of, why I don't believe in zodiac signs, how much, if any, do you take that into shaping your perspective of, whatever it is on this specific topic? We're talking about zodiac signs. So it's like when I give you my perspective on something, or when you receive a new perspective or a different person's perspective on a specific belief that you have, how much do you allow that to influence how you look at that perspective going forward?
But wouldn't it be based upon the topic? Because, there's some topics out there that people just, whatever your beliefs are, if you're a Muslim or Christian, it's just
Let's
like
just say that it's a topic that it ain't life or death topic. It's a topic
Yeah, well,
that
see,
you
there you
care
go.
about. It's a topic that you
doesn't.
care about, and you feel like it's a part of your identity. And the person that you're receiving this opinion and thought from is a person that you respect and you care for, and they have a differing opinion of yours. How much of that do you allow to, like I said, how malleable is your opinion on things when it comes to receiving opinions from people that you respect? And,
Well, I would think if it's concrete, I ain't gonna budge. If it's something that I know that is my opinion on something, and I've done the research, and then, well, at least, but it still depends on what the topic. Because some people will still try to come in there and on purposely try to sway your opinion just because of their opinion, and try to get you to say, "Ha, I got you."
no, I'm not saying this is
I'm-
somebody that you respect. This is somebody that you have a mutual respect for. This ain't somebody that's trying to trip you up or.
But you got to give like an example, because
No,
it
that
could
was
be-
the example I was talking about. Just the zodiac sign. Me and Jackie had.
the
a
zodiac sign.
different-
I think the zodiac.
But no, I'm just using that as an example.
Oh,
But for
different.
anything that you have an opinion about, that's a pretty firm opinion, but it's still you. I'm assuming you're not a person that is not a person that's like, hey, it don't matter what anybody tell me. I know what I believe. I believe what I believe, and ain't nothing you can say to change my mind.
Oh, yeah, no,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
You ain't winning.
Yeah, but it's like a person like you. How susceptible are you, and how do you allow or decide how you're going to allow a different person's opinion to affect your opinion when you just get a new, like if it's something that you hadn't thought of about this particular topic?
I think first it will completely 100% depend on if whatever that issue is or that opinion is, it sways me enough to change my opinion to then begin me to teach that to other people. If it's not going to let me, or if it's not going to make me start voicing like, hey, I used to didn't care about the issue. I had a disopinion on the issue, but now I voice it to other people. I'm probably not gonna. If it's not gonna make me voice that change, like you said, like you're doing now with us, you voicing, gave an example for a Zodiac sign. If it's not gonna allow me to pass on that information to somebody else because what you just told me made me change my opinion or my thought or how I view it or how I project it.
Or even question it.
Or even question,
that's a good point. Maybe I had it wrong.
Is it going to make me, hey, man, I agree. Like, I'm going to go tell that to somebody else. I'm probably going to be like, oh, okay, whether, I would still let that person know, like, yeah, okay, I see a perspective. I need to change my thought on that. But will it make me, I think that's, for me, will it make me go teach that or tell that to somebody else? That would be a deciding factor for me. So
I agree with your idea of depending on what topic it is or depending on what it is. Because like right now, it's like you say a lot of stuff and a lot of things that get me thinking. I appreciate the videos that you send because it be on some nerd shit. And at times I'd be like, God damn it, I don't feel like thinking right now. I'll look at this shit later, but I will go look at it. But it depends on the topic. So if it's something that I'm unfamiliar with, or I would say not as important as to apply directly to my immediate life, then yeah, I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna see what it is that you have to say. But if it's something of importance, like you said, like I've researched, I've done the study on it, I've been through, I baffled my mind about it, and now here you come and say and give your opinion. It's like it's not going to sway me if it doesn't line up with the facts that I have listed in front of me right now. Yeah. So if I did my due diligence in terms of researching something and making sure that I had all the facts that applied to me, I was like, for you to come along and then just throw into your mix, and I'm like, okay, so where did you get that? I just feel like I'm like, well, now that's going to get discredited because you basing your opinion based off of feeling is not going to outweigh what I've done in terms of research based on facts. And those are facts that, again, they could be wrong, they could be right, but those are the facts that I've come up with versus somebody just popping up and be like, oh, well, I think it's green because I like green is my favorite color. I watched The Incredible Hulk. I'm not taking that shit.
I guess I was thinking more of less objective and more subjective, like the Zodiac sign thing, because it's like, it's no way to definitively prove. There's no that either one of us could definitively prove our perspective on this. Right. It's like we can only look at, the experiences that we have and what we see in our day to day. And it's just like we can't fully prove that. These are opinions that we have. Neither one of us can say, hey, look, if you go read this book that's been published and peer reviewed by all these different scientists, then it proves that zodiac signs are real or zodiac signs are complete bullshit. It's like something that you have an opinion or a feeling about, and then somebody else shares their opinion or feeling about is not rooted in complete facts, because facts are facts and you really can't fact your feelings. So it's like that's completely different. I'm in my head, I'm like, this question was really more about like life, like how outlook type stuff and how you look at things or perspective change. And it's like, how influential, like, how do you decide what to allow to influence your perspective or your outlook on certain things or your opinions on certain things that are not fact-based, things that are just completely.
And again, I would go back to what D said in terms of like, it depends on, I like, because right now we can sit up here and argue 24/7 about Zodiac, but I'm gonna go home and go to sleep and forgot what we talked about when I wake up in the morning.
Because big ass glasses of old.
No, this shit was delicious. Number one, and I'm talking about the weed that I smoked prior to drink. But no, it's the fact that it's not life changing. What we talk about is not gonna make or break me when I wake up in the morning. If I got to go do my job, Zodiac ain't got shit to play in that, and I'm not thinking about it. It's just opinion that I feel right now. But if it was something that did apply to that, then that would be different. And, you had mentioned it before about religion, and I know that's a touchy subject for everybody. But
not me.
Yeah. I was like, but I've been through like 3 of them right now. And to be honest, it's like there's a lot of shit people would take very serious, and there are very serious consequences people would leave in terms of religion.
Mhm.
And it's like that would be something that you wouldn't be able to just talk or discuss with somebody in order to change their perspective based on that. So it's like that's totally out of question.
Yeah,
right.
That's completely moot.
But I mean, if that's what you're asking, if we're talking about in terms of levels of acceptability, Zodiac is acceptability, religion would be all hell no. That is fucking off topic. That's right up there with politics. That shit is off topic.
You think so?
With politics? Oh, hell yeah.
I think.
Man, dude.
Yeah,
I've got so
You know
many
what I put up
stories.
there? I
look
put
at the-
religious and the LGBTQ plus on that talking level. That I think everybody's just scared to talk about. That's what I think.
I think LGBTQ plus is melded into politics.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I think it's a very hard topic for people.
Yeah, because I feel like I said, it's melded into politics.
It is.
Because if you you call yourself a Democrat, then you are expected to be online with
Exactly.
LGBT.
See? Maybe
No,
that's for
I
the
mean,
next
but
show.
it's true.
That's
But
part
no,
of
but
the-
that's
what I'm
part.
saying.
Yeah, that's
and they've
part
done
of
that,
his point.
and I feel like that was intentional. And they've done that, and they've melded. Hey, to be Democrat, one of the prerequisites or one of the check boxes to call yourself a Democrat is to be on board with LGBTQ rights or
Yeah, but see, but I separate them. The LGB and the T's and the Q's and the plus, which I think a lot of people have to do because the regular gay,
feel like it
lesbian,
should be, but
and
Oh, well, they
bi
came out and said
should
that
be
themselves.
separate because
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense because
Like
a
it
lot of
should
them
be.
doesn't want to. A lot of them, as I said in a preview, hey, they benefit from being under the umbrella, but they don't. They just want to be regular gay, lesbian, bi, and that's it. And then you got the T's, the Q's, and the plus. That's the whole nother.
Yeah, I
Then
feel like
you
it
get-
should be as far as politics, like that
Yes.
should be separate, but in real world, I don't think it is.
Right, but
It's
then
not.
you then
But
you get
yeah,
it.
so
then
that's
you get
that's
it.
definitely up there. I
The
personally,
furries.
as far
both.
as my own,
we at 225.
yeah, we could wrap up. And
Yeah.
my own personal thing is just like I'd rather not talk about politics because I know how people can get about it. I'm way more open to talking about religion, with a random person. I'm way more open to talking about that than politics because with politics is more of a hatred
Yeah,
when it comes to politics. With religion, it's it's almost like a pity. It's just like if you don't believe, in just use Christianity because it's the most, the leading religion or Judeo religions.
Okay.
Where
I'm
there's
just saying
one-
because Islam is,
monotheism. We say that was one
See?
guy because
it's catching up quick. I'm just saying. Like
That's
the
why I
numbers
know.
have been depleting. And I'm
but I'm just saying
what
as far
they
as that,
believe in.
if you were to say, oh, you don't necessarily believe in God, you're agnostic or whatever. It's like the person who does believe in God or religion, the average person who does believe in those things, they're not gonna say they're not gonna be like I hate you because you don't believe in God. For the average,
Oh, the average. I'm about to say
average
because I
person.
done came in contact with plenty of them.
oh, of course, it's gonna
Fuck
be
you! I hope you burn in hell.
Yeah.
Like nigga, I just asked you who wrote the Bible. That's all I asked you.
But that's
I'm
not my
like,
point.
I'm asked, no. Because now I'm on a rant. Now I asked
no,
you a simple
yeah.
fuck that. We'll go back to the time, but you should have never brought up religion. I asked a simple question. Motherfuckers with all this Christianity and talk about I believe in God. All I asked is like, nigga, right now we can watch a video or whatever, and we'll have two separate different opinions on watching a video, but yet you willing to tell me some shit that goes back 3,000 years that you don't know who wrote, don't know where the shit came from, don't know when the language was translated, don't know who sat down with who, and all I ask is that who wrote that shit, and how is it that you believe in some shit that happened 3 years ago, some niggas that you ain't never even heard of? That's all I'm asking. And motherfuckers immediately tell me that I'm going to hell. No, fuck you.
Right.
I'm not.
Right.
This is one of those positions that I'm not changing my shit on. Hold up.
man,
I'm not
right.
changing my shit on. Because it's like, motherfucker, you can't answer a simple question. All these motherfucking Christians running around talking about they hate white people and hate all this other shit. I was like, well, according to your God, you're not supposed to hate. But again, according to your God, that God is a jealous God. He's a vengeful God. He will fuck you up according to that word that you supposedly read. So I was like, I wouldn't hang around with a nigga like that. There's a lot of shit that goes into that. I'm sorry. You should have never got me sparked up on the Bible.
The point,
it's your fault.
My point, we'll have like I said, we could dedicate an episode.
Fuck them niggas.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have, I'll be religious and the LGBTQ. Those some hot topics.
That's why I was saying.
Find out the nigga that wrote them motherfucking pages.
Jesus
was
Christ.
it Frederick or motherfucking, I don't give Frederick Douglass.
King
I don't
James.
give fuck
King James.
Yeah. That nigga didn't write that book, by the way. Go do your research. You motherfuckers are lost. And get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry.
My point
got angry.
Was that religion for the average person is not an immediate, and that still doesn't apply to what you're saying, because at that point you're challenging them on something that they can't answer.
Exactly.
But that's not my point. My only point was, when it comes to religion versus politics, if you were to tell a Christian, hey, I'm agnostic, I just don't believe in God, or I don't have the evidence, I haven't seen enough evidence to convince me one way or another, the average Christian is not going to immediately say, I hate you. They're more likely to try to convince you or to try to explain to you some stuff or whatever. And
it's called bullshit.
Regardless, that's what they're most likely their response is going to be. But on the opposite side, if you are a Democrat and you happen to come across a Republican and you say, hey, I voted for Biden, that immediate response is going to be like, damn near I fucking hate you, and vice versa. You Republican and you tell somebody, hey, I voted for Trump, they're going to immediately call you the devil and all this other nonsense. So that's why I place, as far as topics I'm willing to discuss. Somebody asked me a question, I'll discuss it. I don't give a fuck, because I really don't care what people think of me as far as like on a personal level. We're well aware of that. Like, my views and stuff is like, if you agree or you don't, I don't really care. I'll still discuss them with you, but I'm more likely to, discuss a religion aspect versus politics, even though I still will not, like, if somebody, just for like, for example, if somebody be like, oh yeah, God was working on that. If I give somebody an example of something that happened positive in my life, say, look at God bless you with that. And I was like, I'd be like, I appreciate it. Yeah. I'm not going to be like, God ain't do shit. I did that myself. I went to work and busted my ass.
The same way I'm thinking.
That's exactly the same way I think.
I'm thinking in my head.
They always say, "Oh, God didn't motherfucker." God didn't go out and find. God didn't have the motherfuckers call me for a job interview. I had to go out there and fucking.
I'm very less likely to actually say that. I'll just nod and agree, like, yeah, right. I got lucky, I got blessed, or whatever, however you want to put it. I'm like, hey, something happened. I'm like, however you want to call it. You want to call it luck? You want to call it the universe? You want to call it God? You want to call it luck? You want to call it hard work? Man, I don't care. The good shit still happened in my life.
I'm like, I went out there and bust my ass. I was going to work 9 to 5, double shift, triple shift. This bitch called off 3 times. I had to pick up a shift. God, they did.
Right.
But we at 3:30. Y'all not finna have me.
Yeah. I'm gotta eat.
All right, y'all. I'm done. Thank you for the vent, and I'm drunk. Peace out.
Yep.